Cool game. Oh. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza! Family Pizzeria looking for security guard to work. I can't read that fast. Oh, thank you, Veggie. Thank you for the follow. All the games close on next. All the games? I thought it was just the first one. Oh wait, I forgot to move myself. What was that noise? Where's the phone? I don't even see it on my desk.
Hello.
He said the thing.
I wanted to record a message for you.
Where is the phone?
Get settled in on your first night.
Dude, this looks fucking mean.
I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact. So
is it that?
It can be a bit overwhelming.
That looks like the
Fanda.
Fanda.
I can tell you, there's nothing to worry about. You'll do fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know.
Where's Foxy?
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids.
Adam told me to keep looking at Foxy.
Fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to
what was
property
that?
or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90
days. Did you hear
that? As soon as property
who laughed?
Have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached, and the carpets have been replaced. Blah blah blah. Now that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about.
Are they moving during
the animatronic characters
the call?
do get a bit quirky at night, but do I blame them? No. If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children, and we need to show them a little respect. Right?
Why would we need to show the robots
So
respect?
the characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up, they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too.
Oh, what's happening?
The bite of 87.
Am I doing something wrong? The bite of 87?
The human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know? Now
Frontal
concerning your
lobe?
safety, the only real risk to you,
It's gonna
as a night
happen.
watchman here, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize you as a person. They'll most likely see you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules
What?
here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably
But like, why?
forcefully
Well, okay, I know they're
inside
like
of
children
Freddy Fazbear's
or something, right? But like,
now that wouldn't be so
if
bad
they have
if
modes,
suits themselves
why
weren't
would they
built
leave them on the
with
free roam?
beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcibly pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth that pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign
Wait, it's 2 a.m. and nothing has moved.
I'll chat with you tomorrow.
Freddy Fazbear?
Remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary.
I only know Fnaf.
Good night.
Sorry. It's 2 a.m. I need to keep looking at. Okay. Bonnie's a girl, right? What's that noise? Those who know? Well, I saw, like, I remember seeing like controversy saying like Bonnie's a girl or Bonnie's a guy. Okay, Bonnie is a guy. Is it Toy Bonnie that's a girl? I remember there being a site that said that they were a girl. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? He's right there! Is this safe? You gone? Or he's still there? What a creep! None of the bunnies are girls except for Bonnet. Bro knows the Fnaf lore. Yeah, what a fucking nerd. Bonnie, can you get the fuck out of the... Like, get out of my hallway, bruh. He's just standing there. He's still there. I am a nerd for knowing the gender of one of the main characters. Is he gonna go the fuck away? Go away, man. I don't want you. My power, the door is almost dead. Why did it go? Why did it do that? Is he still there? What's that noise? He's still there! What a creep! My power! This really is like working a real job. Whoa, what does that mean? This is good. Chica, Freddy. Is that Bonnie? Am I good? Chica's gone. Is someone in my vent? Where's Chica? No, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Where'd they go? Dude, where the fuck did they go? Fuck. I gotta give up on first night. I'm not doing this game, bro. Fuck. Where'd he go? Fuck. Fuck. Oh my god, but I need to calm down. That fucked me up. Dude, if I can't even get past the first night, how am I gonna do this? Can I look behind me?
Hello?
Hello, I'm muting your ass. Okay, I can do this. I don't know where they went though, but you know, that's fine. I'll just keep an eye on these two. Keep my power usage up. Or my power, I guess. Cisco, no, why would you do that? Where did he go though? Like I swear, like I didn't see him in this place, or I didn't see him in this place. I heard something rummaging. Are they looking at the camera? No. Anaconda. No, they're kind of chilling. As soon as fucking 3 a.m. comes around, they're gonna be on me. They're gonna be getting me. My fun day. Okay, my fun day. Who's this guy? That doesn't look like any of them. Looks like Bart Simpson. Is this Lisa? Who the fuck is playing music? Dude, I don't like this, man. Did your family dine at Freddy Fazbear? I mean, we did go to Chuck E. Cheese. That's kind of the same thing. We didn't have a bite of 87 at Chuck E. Cheese, though. Like, realistically, right? Why isn't this dude calling the police? Like, fucking shut this shit down. Like, why are they so afraid of, like, animatronics? What is it gonna do to, like, a gun? We saw this in the Fnaf movie. They took him down. Who just talked? He doesn't know the lore? Well, are they like extraterrestrial beings? I thought they were just children in a fucking costume. Or dead children, I guess. Are they like it? Cause it is like a clown, but like he's actually an extraterrestrial being and he's like fucking... He eat the whole universe or some shit. And his ops is like that turtle that like has the universe on his back. And then they all railed the girl at the end. Dude, this is bad. I'm at 66% at 3 a.m. I got 3 more hours. What the fuck is body? Oh, I'm so dead. Oh! 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 Don't me. For me, I heard what you said, but I don't trust myself. Get away from me! Why is he looking like that? He looks like he's about to race me. Maybe I should open the door. He kind of looks like Ben. Ben. You want to get ice cream with me? Huh? You wanna get some ice cream with me? He has a very boopable nose. Boop! You know, he's not that scary after all. Want some candy, little kid? It's in the back. It's in Camp 3. Wanna come to the back room with me? Hmm? Bonnie! Yes, Bonnie! Stop fucking moving! Oh, Ben? Wait, dude, oh, I should probably close this on. I thought I... Oh, dude, I'm so fucked! I'm actually so fucked! Where'd Chica go? Where's Chica? Am I dead? Wait, I'm actually so screwed. I lose. Where the fuck did Chica go? Don't kill me, please. Something is rummaging. Check kitchen. Yeah, like I know what that is. Oh, kitchen. Oh. Audio only. Hey guys, I'm about to die. I'm gonna take it like a man. Come get me, Chica! If it's anyone, I hope it's you! Please! Chica! Chica! Nope. No! That's not what I wanted! I wanted Chica! I wanted Chica, not you! Give me Chica! But I forgot. I'm not... I'm not feeding this game. Dude, I'm like actually so cooked if I can't get past the first night. Lock in! Dude, what do you mean lock in? It doesn't tell me anything! It doesn't tell me anything! I can't find anyone! If I'm struggling with day 1, I'm gonna be struggling with day 2 and not to mention day 5. Okay. Okay, lock in. Ooh. Hello, hello. I need like my popcorn. I need to be the guy that like eats popcorn. Like that one meme.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night.
Shut up, bro. Shut up, bro. Okay, I'm not gonna use anything. Chico? Momo, you trying to get me? Momo, how dare ya? Dude, if if it's Chica, I don't mind losing. Look at her. Dude, she got the mascara on. She got her nice, like, orange lipstick on. She got no clothes on. Dude, look at her feet. Like, dude, she put on her new nails. Like, she wants me. Freddy kind of reminds me of like Zazel, right? And then Bonnie, right? Bonnie would be a good femboy. He already got the ears, the buddy ears. He's got that bow tie, like it's perfect. Wait, are these like the... Are these no, I was gonna say, like, are these children the people that are inside the suit? But that wouldn't make any sense, right? Because this is a girl. And Freddy's a guy, so... Where's the golden guy, huh? Where's the I always come back? No, turn it off. Adam, that hurt me. You know how loud it is for me. You know how loud it is for me. It's almost like there's one female animatronic here. Shut up! It's there for a reason? What? This? The girl? Well, yeah, there's a girl, like, but like, I would assume, like, it would have been cooler if, like, there was, like, that is Freddy, right? Oh. The... Oh! Hey, man! You got the cheeseburgers? Cheeseburgers are good. Cheeseburger. Hamburger? I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh, he looks even creepier. Cheeseburger? Cheeseburger? Oh, okay, good. I'm locked. What? How is there? Because like Fuma, you told me that like there was a chatter telling you how to play. Like, is it not random? He moved instantly. There's still a strat? Is the strat... Bud. He's moving instantly! He's playing with me! Bud? going dumpity dum dum dum. We're going dumpity dum dum dum. Who's knocking on my shit? Dude, I don't wanna keep this open. Where'd she go? Yeah, I'm good on this one. Never mind, I heard footprints. I'm scared. Okay, they're not here, they're not here. Oh, I'm dead again, man. I'm dead, I'm so dead, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. Please be Chica at least. Oh my goodness, I did it. Oh, and there's no, it instantly starts the second night. Oh. Hello, hello. Okay, okay. What's going dubbity dub? They're already on the move?
Hello? Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2, congrats. I won't talk quite as long this time since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses. It might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, you know. Interestingly enough, Freddy himself doesn't come off stage very often.
Button?
I've heard he becomes a lot more active in the dark, though, so hey, I guess that's one more reason not to run out of power, right? I also want to emphasize the importance of using your door lights. There are blind spots in your camera views, and those blind spots happen to be right outside your doors. So if
What the fuck is their blind spots, genius?
Someone on your cameras, be sure to check the door light. You might only have a few seconds to react. Not that you would be in any danger, of course. I'm not implying that. Also, check on the curtain in Pirate Cove from time to time. The character in there seems unique in that he becomes more active if the cameras remain off for long periods of time. I guess he doesn't like being watched. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you have everything under control. Talk to you soon.
Have to do fucking everything, huh? I have to do fucking everything, huh? How about you come in here, huh, sir? How about you take my job, huh? You should be like talking, huh? You seem to fuck with these animatronics. Why can't you come in here, huh? Why do I have to do it? Probably get more pay. You left me alone. Nice. Hey, chica. You're probably good, right? How did you get there so fast? How do I know if he's gone or not? Where'd he go? He's still at my door, I think. I hear walking. Dude, I'm telling you, he's instantly moving. Chica loves me. Chica loves me. Chica loves me. Hopefully not too much, though. Alright, let's check on... He's gone. I have eyes. I don't have eyes on Bonnie. Oh, yes I do. Like a dangerous game right now. He's gone. Is she in the kitchen? He gone? He's there. I'm not risking it. I don't know if I should. No, I don't know. I don't have eyes on anyone. Where'd they go? Wait, I think I'm dead. I'm so dead, actually. It's not even 5 a.m. yet. Hey, Chica. Oh no, I'm dead. I'm so dead, actually. I'm so dead. Yeah, I'm GG. She's right there. I'm so kicked. I thought I was doing kind of decent as well. Dude, why is it always you, bro? I want Chica. Why is it so dark now? Hello? Oh. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. This game might be a classic Markiplier watch instead of playing. Wait, I have an idea. Hold on now. What if I watch the Fnaf lore? Because that's kind of just what I'm playing it for. I'm playing it for the lore, but like, what if there's a Fnaf lore video? The entire Fnaf timeline. 8 hours? You can't play for the lore? What does that mean? It's still hidden away and only partially in books and stuff. So what am I playing it for? I thought it was like gonna be like a story. Enjoyment? I'm not having fun. I'm struggling here. Wait, do I have any tabs open? I don't think. I don't think I have any tabs open. Where is my game? See ya! Oh, wait, I have this on. Hey, look at me, look at me. The newer ones have actual story, the old ones have like deep hidden lore. What the heck? Where is my... Do I not have a screen capture? Wait, window capture. Mozilla Firefox. Yeah! Okay. Wait. I need to drag this over. Ooh, who's this? Who shot it? Hey, look at my anime list. Ooh, very pretty, very pretty. Wait, surely the 9 hour 6.3 million views is better than the hour one, right? Surely. Well, actually, this is the timeline, not the lore. Yeah, surely this is the Five Nights at Freddy's lore in only. Why is it's titled like a speed run? I sped read the entire Fnaf lore in 2 hours and 17 minutes. The absurd. You will never finish this video? Yes, I will.
Hello and welcome to The Absurds. My name is Gibby.
How do I
have
tell you that
written
I'm gonna
scripts well
watch this
over
entire
100
video
pages
right
before,
now?
But I have never tackled a subject like this. This is the most complicated narrative
This is gonna be
I have
a
ever
10-hour
unwound
stream.
on my channel. If you're a longtime viewer, then you know that my bread and butter are unbelievable stranger-than-fiction true stories and fictional worlds that are so detailed they feel
I'm
like
immersed.
reality. And the most interesting thing I discuss are the intersections between these fantastical fictions and the unbelievable stories.
Dude, this is what
and
Ludwig
joy
does? This is
behind their
easy.
creations. In this video, I'm going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. The internet will have you believe this is the most complicated video game story ever told. And
Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought this was about Fnaf, not Fnaf.
they are correct. Well, this video is going to serve as a full overview of the franchise.
Where's
so even
FNAF?
people who are completely unfamiliar with it will be able to follow along, but I will also go into minute detail as I attempt to do the impossible and craft a coherent, all-encompassing timeline of events.
Thank you, sir.
in FNAF. So if you've been with the franchise since 2014 like I have, or if you just want to know what all the fuss is about with the movie
2014?
coming out,
Really?
stay tuned. We're about to go on a journey together. Buckle up for the next
I thought it was
7 or so
2016
hours.
at minimum.
Five Nights at Freddy's started life as an indie game developed
Oh,
by
it's
a
actually
single man,
like
Scott Cawthon.
it's doing like the
It has
actual
since
game
spawned
as well.
nearly a dozen sequels, multiple series of novels, and an upcoming movie being produced by horror juggernaut Blumhouse. I say upcoming knowing full well that within a few short weeks this video will be outdated by the movie, but hey, that's how YouTube
I
works.
watched
I can't
that
sit on this
movie.
video forever. Most people know the story by heart, but it's important to cover the origins of the franchise, because I think that understanding the author is one of the best ways to start looking into the meaning of a piece of art.
The author's Toby Scott,
Cawthon
right?
released several failed indie games before Five Nights at Freddy's, most of them using simple yet stylized graphics that look straight out of the early 90s. Something that's brought up a lot is that Scott is a devout Christian, and so his games
Yeah,
feature
Toby Scott,
themes
right?
that you would find in works created by religious people. I don't think that's actually an important part of the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, which I'm going to call Fnaf from now on. Because
Dude,
that's
this
just
is
way
this
too
is
long
what
of a
he
title to
made
keep
before
saying.
FNAF.
I think the internet just likes highlighting
Just say
Scott
you're
as
a
being
crazy
religious,
person.
because it makes the turn from bright and chipper games he used to make to the
I
dark and
can't do it.
legitimately disturbing
I'm
FNAF,
rage baiting.
all
I'm
the
rage
more
baiting.
drastic, dramatic. Of course, I don't want to undercut the role that God plays in works created by faithful people. I think a lot of religious people would say that God is present in all of their creative endeavors. But it's so weird to me that
Did you
people
do you
label
do you
Scott
guys know that all these celebrities say that they believe in God, but from what people don't get is that there could be multiple gods. So they could believe in Buddha, they could believe in Jesus, they could believe in. Those are the only two I know actually, but you get the point. When they say I believe in God, it could mean something a bad God. It could be so like if someone says like I believe in Jesus, they could still be weird, but they're probably better than the ones that only say I believe in God.
as a Christian when so many creators, especially here in America, are Christian.
Bad
never
God.
seen a
Is
video-
Satan technically like a god?
Essay about Skyrim opened by discussing how Todd Howard is Catholic. I just think it's wild.
Dude,
that
I
when
would
people are
kiss the
discussing
wall for a
FNAF
million.
theories, someone will say, well, you know, Scott is Christian. As if the vast majority of art people consume isn't made by a religious person.
I would kiss the wall for fucking
Anyway, the
50K.
game he made right before FNAF was actually called Chipper & Sons Lumber Company. See, that's why I described his older games as Chipper.
This game looks like
is a pun.
a game I would
Before
play.
Scott made Chipper & Sons, he created a much darker game in 2012 called The Desolate Hope. This game is intentionally dark, frightening even. Scott didn't go from a VeggieTales
Wait, it's
to
the- it's
child
the,
murder. He was a normal adult creator
robots.
who made some games for kids and
This
some
guy-
child murder.
This guy kind of looks like this guy kind of looks like something that would be in FNAF.
Again, I think the focus on Scott's past is meant to point to FNAF being this breaking point, where he was so desperate with one final chance for success that he let the inner darkness of his soul come out to make this horrific experience.
If this game was released today, it would flop so hard. It would be
a major
ass, I
criticism
think.
of Chipper and Sons was that the characters looked like scary animatronics, and so Scott decided his next game would have intentionally scary animatronics. I don't think Scott was waving his fist in the air saying, if this is what you want, I'll show you
All his
scary.
previous games make appearances on
What
later.
he would continue to do while making the Fnaf series. He made his next game using the feedback he got from his previous game. And so Five Nights at Freddy's was born, a horror game about demonic-looking animatronics right out of the 1980s Chuck E. Cheese inspired nightmares.
Have you seen
Like
Chica?
Slender, the 8 pages before it, Fnaf became a favorite among YouTube Let's Players because it gave them plenty of opportunities to scream loudly at the camera to entertain their viewers.
Oh God!
It's called Freddy!
What the f***, okay?
The game became very popular after being picked up by big Let's Players like Markiplier. It sold enough copies that Scott could quit his day job and develop games as a career. I don't think Scott made his game with
If Slenderman was never made, I feel like FNAF wouldn't have picked up.
But that's not to take away from what made the original FNAF really great. FNAF is this weird mix of many video games
I feel like
that has
people-
never really existed before.
I feel like people were looking for games like Slenderman, and then it led them into playing FNAF.
You don't move in the game, you just sit in one office, which is really just a stretched JPEG that's been given a cylinder shape so you can look side to side and be given the illusion of depth. The only thing you can do is look at security cameras and close 2 doors on either side of you. It's not exactly a survival horror game, it's not exactly a tower defense, it's not exactly
tower
point and click,
defense.
it's not exactly a game of Pac-Man. It's a weird combination of all of those things.
I have an idea. Boom. I'm so immersed right now. I'm finishing this video
Let me set the stage for you.
right now.
Pun definitely intended. In Five Nights at Freddy's, you play as a security guard at a fictionalized version of Chuck E. Cheese. They got arcade machines, they got pizza, they got animatronics that sing and entertain the kids.
What is it called?
And they got animatronics that sing and terrify the kids. It's just how it is. You have to stay there from midnight until 6 a.m. and just watch the building. But soon you learn that you're not there to keep vandals and burglars out. You're there because of the animatronics. Every night you hear a recorded message from the previous nighttime guard over the phone, which led the community to dub this character Phone Guy. Phone Guy explains that the animatronics have to walk around occasionally to prevent their servos from locking up, and that they can't do it during the day because in the past letting them walk around led to the bite of 87, in which someone lost the frontal lobe of their brain. The animatronics have some level of artificial intelligence, and Phone Guy says that if they see you, they'll probably think you're an endoskeleton in need of a mascot suit. So they'll drag you to the back room and stuff you into a spare suit, which would kill you. The game, then, is to survive until 6 a.m. by warding off characters and protecting yourself from them using strategy and techniques that you learn through trial and error, with some hints from Phone Guy.
Why is there 2
You survive
of them?
5 nights, get a paycheck, and the game
Wait,
ends.
where'd my game get? Where'd my... Oh, I
That's the
fucked
basis
up
of
my
Five Nights at
OBS.
Freddy's.
I fucked up my OBS. I don't know what I did. What did I even do? Here we go.
It's just pattern recognition with a creepy atmosphere and some subtle lore and lots of jump scares, which made it the perfect game to play for a YouTube channel. It's one thing to play the game and slowly learn how to beat each night and best each animatronic, but when you do, you get frustrated every time you die because you just don't know why. The game is not great at communicating exactly what you're supposed to be doing, which led to a lot of myths and legends at the time about easy ways to best certain characters like Foxy. But if you're watching somebody play, not only do you get to watch them figure it out on their own, but when they die, it's not frustrating, it's hilarious. They scream and make funny sounds.
Okay. God, this night is lasting forever!
There we go.
And of course, all the boring parts will be edited out, so you just get a smooth, engaging narrative of your favorite screaming YouTube boy.
I can look at my side monitor and look at Subway Surfers.
Where's Mr. Zamet? No ducky there. Where's my...
Fnaf is a great game mechanically, but in its essence, it's actually better as a video. The fun puzzle parts are still fun
that's what I
because
said.
you, the viewer, still get to figure them out, and the frustrating failures are fun because you're
We
not
have
the
yet
one
to talk about
failing.
any lore. He's talking about the entire lore. So that includes the making of the game as well as the YouTubers that covered it. I would assume.
Again, I think it's accurate to say the game is accidentally great for Let's Plays, and that's one reason that people love it. But the other reason is the lore I mentioned earlier. The bite of 87, the lived-in feeling of the building and the history it implies. Nowadays, we might say it has the essence of a liminal space.
You said the
We see
bite
a
of
party
87.
room, empty, with hats set up for a
Perhaps.
party that you aren't going to attend. You're seeing something outside of its normal context, and for some reason, we find that creepy. There's also newspapers on the wall you can read that tell a very vague but also
Kids
easy to
vanish at
decipher
local
story.
pizzeria.
The original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was shut down because 5 children went missing inside, but their bodies were never found. Kids vanish at local pizzeria. Bodies not found. 2 local children were reportedly lured into a back room during the late hours of operation at Freddy Fazbear's
room?
Pizza on the night of June 26th.
So the joke I made about Bonnie
While
was
video
true.
surveillance identified the man responsible and led to his capture the following morning, the children themselves were never found and are presumed dead. Police think that the suspect dressed as a company mascot to earn the...
Okay, so the kids are gone, right? But surely the kids are just in the suits. Did they not bother to fucking take the suits in and, like, do actual detective work on the fucking suits? Or I guess if I was a police officer, I would not assume someone to be so crazy to shove dead children in an animatronic body. So maybe that's a pass.
the children's trust. 5 children now reported missing. Suspect convicted.
When it gets to 5, though, I would start getting sus.
5 children are now linked to the incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a man dressed as a cartoon mascot lured them into a back room. While the suspect has been charged, the bodies themselves were never found. Freddy Fazbear's
How is there
Pizza
no
has
smell?
been fighting an uphill battle ever since to convince families to return to the pizzeria. It's a tragedy. Local pizzeria threatened with shutdown over sanitation. Local pizzeria, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza,
there is a
has
smell.
been threatened again with shutdown by the health department over reports of foul odor coming from the much-loved animal mascots.
Okay. Wait.
Police were contacted when parents reportedly noticed what appeared to be blood and mucus around the eyes and mouths of the mascots. One parent likened them to reanimated carcasses. Local pizzerias said to close.
Okay, so they did. No. Where is it? Okay, so they saw the blood. They smelled the smell. And that only caused it to get shut down?
Close by year's end. After a long struggle to stay in business after the tragedy that took place there many years ago, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has announced that it will close by year's end. Despite a year-long search for a buyer, companies seem unwilling to be associated with the company. These characters will live on in the hearts of kids. These characters will live on. CEO. So yeah, the killers stuffed their bodies in the suits, and now they're haunted. Pretty straightforward. I wouldn't say that this is so much hidden lore as it is subtext. You're supposed to understand what the newspapers are implying. Also, fun fact.
Surely they took the kid's body out of the animatronics, right? Surely. They took the bodies out of the animatronics, and then they're still active because they're haunted.
after recording this is the first time I noticed that last quote. These characters will live on in the hearts of kids. These characters will live on. It's a joke because the characters are going to live on because they're possessed and they're ghosts. I get it now.
Okay, yes.
The events described in these newspapers are referred to by fans as the Missing Children's Incident, or the MCI. This will go on to be the basis and the catalyst for everything that happens in the story. And because of that, all of the details surrounding it are extremely important. The newspapers explain that cameras picked up someone in a mascot suit luring children into a back room. This happened in June, and the next day...
Imagine you see this guy at, like, the corner, and then he gives you food, and then he takes you to a back room. Children are really stupid.
After the camera footage was observed, the guy was arrested. But even then, the bodies were never found. We know and we can assume that they were stuffed into the suits. That's why it's the Missing Children Incident and not the Dead Children Incident. There's some speculation about when this occurred, but basically everyone agrees it was 1985. The newspaper specifies the month of June, and the 1985 number comes from the books that describe the incident, as well as the fact that based on later games in the series, we know it takes place between 1983 and 1987. So 1985 is the date of the Missing Children.
If Chica gave you food, you would follow her? Yeah, because who the fuck would it, dude? Who the fuck would it? And first of all, I am an adult, so I can fucking like, whoosh, whoosh. See, I can take care of fucking Chica, okay? Like, these little children can't fucking punch for shit. If Chica starts to get a little creepy, then I could give her a fucking right hook and take care of it. Okay? I punch metal for fun, is what I'm trying to say here.
An incident which from now...
The metal suit? Yeah, I punch metal for fun, okay? You ain't doing shit about 1,000 brass metals. Okay, first of all, even if I can't, like, I would try and punch her, and then I would be like, oh, fuck, that hurt. And then you know what I could do? I could turn around and start fucking booking it. Right? It's 1,000 pounds. It can't run, sure, like, probably that fast. I could totally outrun Chica. And like, if I'm in the back corner, Foxy proves that isn't true. Okay, well, Foxy is Foxy. Have you seen Chica run? No. Have you seen Freddy run? Maybe, I don't know. When I said that in the Mimic, you said, oh yeah, but it would chase you. Dude, I don't fucking remember what I say in your chat. Okay, I was probably bullshitting. And to be fair, the ones in Mimic, it was in Call. Okay, I said it would chase you, but did I say it'll capture you? See? I didn't. I didn't say they'll catch you, they'll chase you. And also, the mimic guy, he's probably like Foxy, where he's actually nimble. Because he just appeared in your car out of nowhere. So, like, I feel like Chica, you know, she's kind of a bigger lady. So is Freddy. Maybe Barney could run, but I feel like Chica and Freddy, we haven't seen run, so therefore they cannot run.
Now on, I will refer to as the MCI. Besides the minimal story, jump scares, and gameplay, the main take people had back in the day was how silly it was for our main character security guard, whose name we learn is Mike Schmidt, to keep coming back.
Mike Schmidt.
Once it's
what a name.
Very apparent how dangerous the animatronics are. This is what we nowadays would call ludonarrative dissonance, which is a very pretentious way of saying that the gameplay and the story are out of sync.
See the video so long based on the PC he's getting.
Animatronics are dangerous and that you have to fight for.
It's split up into like arcs. So this is Fnaf Part 1. This is autobiography of a yogi. What the fuck? What's a yogi? Fnaf. Yeah, he's literally going over the entire lore. Like he's going over game theorist. So he's kind of doing like a timeline video, but except it's including the substance of like everything. So that's probably why it's 8 hours long. Because he's got to go over the popular content creators. He's got to go over like the books. Gameplay. We know UCN gameplay. I don't know what that is.
Survival. But the gameplay makes you come back for 5 nights, which no reasonable person would. The character only acts the way they do during the gameplay sections because the story demands it, even if it conflicts with the story. And a lot of people noticed and made fun of this back in 2014. And oh, how wrong they were. You see, the fact that the Night Guard comes back after
Does he go over the game that's like pixelated? Because that's like the only one I played. Wait, Fnaf
But it will take 4 more games for us to realize what that reason he comes back is.
I think I played Fnaf Road, but I don't remember it being in color.
And we're gonna start talking
I swear it was like a Game Boy game. Not like Game Boy, but like it was like black and white. Wait, what? Why people want to see an 8-hour game commentary video? I don't get it. It's like you gotta watch it or something. First of all, I'm Mexican. I'm not white. No. Don't know what you can mean by
Freddy
that.
Fazbear's Pizza is a Chuck E. Cheese analog within the universe the game takes place. During the day, the restaurant is a fun kids' party destination where families can watch an animatronic band and eat pizza. The band members are
I think Chica
Freddy
wants
the
me.
Bear, Bonnie the Bunny, and Chica the Chicken. Off the main stage is Pirate's Cove, where Foxy the Fox Pirate resides. But he's out of order.
Foxy's
Freddy
a
is the leader and the only
pirate.
character not named directly after the type of animal he is. His name is actually a play on teddy bear. He is Freddy Bear, conjuring the image of a soft, cuddly friend more
Freddy
so than
Bear?
a frightening...
I thought it was Freddy Fazbear. Is Fazbear not his real last name?
wild grizzly. There's a help wanted ad in the local newspaper. Freddy is looking
This is Freddy Fazbear.
for a night shift security guard to work from midnight to 6 a.m.
Should play day shift at Freddy's. No way. There's no way that's a real. No fucking way. Day shift at Freddy's. What the heck is phone guy? Hey. Oh. Oh. Why is that censored? Does he have a penis there? It's a maybe visual novel. The one that I thought looked good was like ball pit Freddy. Like this one looks kind of fun to play. And it's free on PlayStation.
The newspaper claims the company is not responsible for injury or dismemberment. It pays $120
It's a running
a
gag
week.
in the game.
Upon arriving for
To
the
have
first night,
Foxy's
the
cock
player
out.
character Mike Schmidt sits down alone in the security guard's office.
Dude,
Around him
he
are
must have a
posters,
fucking
drawings,
massive
and
schlong.
toys.
You saw how big that
The
black
largest
bar
poster
was?
says "Celebrate" and depicts the main stage with Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica, a brick wall behind them,
Like,
and cloud
holy.
decorations floating by their heads. On the desk are several old TVs,
Chica doesn't
trash
see
in the
that.
form of crumpled tinfoil, a soda cup, papers, and a constantly spinning fan. On one of the monitors is a pink cupcake with a single candle and its eyes
Cupcake.
staring directly at you. Children's crayon drawings are pinned to the wall. One depicts a boy with a green shirt labeled Me, opening a present with Bonnie inside. It's titled My Fun Day. Another, also titled My Fun Day, but in pink, shows 8 balloons, with another off to the side having just popped. A yellow My Fun Day drawing shows a boy opening a small present with Freddy and 5 other children watching. Purple My Fun Day shows Freddy giving a child a present. A cut-off drawing shows a child and Chica standing by a cake with Freddy watching, and a final paper shows the lower half of Bonnie's head. There are speakers on the floor under the desk, however they are covered in cobwebs.
I have to fill text in an essay and just start describing it.
There are blind spots just outside the office.
It's a lore video,
the camera to the
bruh.
kitchen is broken, and the camera footage is very staticky. Freddy, Chica, and Bonnie start the night on the stage, and Foxy is behind the curtain at Pirate Cove,
Fucking 8 hours.
which is closed and out of order. Foxy's body is noticeably damaged, so perhaps the stage...
Did some of the comments say about that? The fact he didn't say William Afton until like 3 hours is crazy.
of the animatronic is the reason for this closure. Throughout the night, Bonnie and Chica will wander around. Bonnie might walk up to your left door, and Chica
3
may
hours
wander toward
before
the right.
mentioning the main guy is
Foxy
crazy.
is constantly in a state of coming to get you. Looking at the security cameras
That
causes
guy
them
that
to
was in your
emit a
chat
light,
was
like the red light on
Afton.
the camera to indicate it's recording. And this light
He said, "Know
freezes
your lore,
Foxy in
dude. He was
place.
the creator."
Freddy also makes his way
He was
toward you,
in real
but for him, the
life.
system is a little
He
different.
made-
You have to
he
specifically
made
be
the
watching
mimic,
the camera
man.
he is on to freeze him in place. Almost like he can tell he's being watched. On the first night, the phone rings.
Wait,
and
don't all of them do that though?
almost like he can tell he'll quickly be watching the camera he is on to freeze him in place. Almost like he can tell he's being
They all look
watched.
in the camera though.
On the first night, the phone rings, and Mike Schmidt hears the following message from Phone Guy.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually
Do we know what Phone Guy looks like?
I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming. But
What if Phone Guy's Arnold?
Nothing to worry about. You'll do fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
He looks like a
magical place for kids and grown-ups alike. Where
It's
fantasy
like
and fun
Veggie
come to
Tales,
life.
but like
Fazbear
instead of like a
Entertainment is
vegetable,
not
he's just a
responsible for
phone.
damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah.
Dude, I would like.
Now, that might sound bad,
I would
know,
not take this
but
job.
there's really nothing to worry about.
And especially after the first
The
night, I'm
animatronic
fucking quitting.
characters here
Like
do get a bit
the main
quirky at
character
night, but do I blame
is
them?
fucking
No.
stupid.
If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children and we need to show them a little respect, right? Okay. So just be aware.
There's a reason for the main character to be there. What reason? What reason? What, he's fucking poor? Get another job.
The characters do tend to wander a bit.
You'll learn about it in
They're
7
left in some kind of
hours.
free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up if they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the bite of 87.
What if we are
Yeah.
Afton?
It's amazing that the human body can live without the
Ooh,
frontal
what if
lobe,
the main
you know?
character is
Now,
William?
concerning your safety, the only
Is it just
real
no
risk
sweat?
to you
Fumo,
as a night watchman
Fumo, respectfully, you would be sitting here and be like, what was I doing again? Oh, hey, Chica. And then you would like, you would forget what you were doing, basically. You would so forget. You would talk to Phone Guy. You would get the phone call from Phone Guy and like listen, but like not actually listen to what he's saying. So like if he says like watch out for Foxy, you're just not gonna hear that, and then Foxy's gonna eat your booty.
here, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize
Can I bring my
you as a
3DS to the
person.
job, please?
they'll most likely
Can I play
see you as
Animal
a
Crossing?
metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably try to forcefully stuff you inside a Freddy Fazbear suit. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort.
I'd have the camera only on Foxy's stand and bring a flashlight so I could check the doors without using any lights. Okay, so what if they come to the door? Okay, you're not gonna stand up and click the button if you're too lazy to click the lights. Or are you gonna have like a string on the door button where you could just like pull it and then it activates the door?
And
We learned from this call that Phone Guy
Purple
worked
Guy!
here before us, recorded various messages that we'll hear as the nights go on, and now no longer works for the company. The setup is a little weird because he recorded these messages a week ago and left them for us, and each one is delivered to us as a phone call.
I
but it's a
closed the door? Yeah, but if you're too lazy to walk up and use the lights, would you know? And what if it's Foxy? Are you gonna outrun Foxy? Like, are you gonna like, whoosh, boom? I'm not lazy to click the light button. I just don't want to use them and drain the AAA batteries that the building runs on. Well then, why do all that extra work? Just get extra batteries. Just bring like a generator so it never goes out. See, I'm thinking more lazy. I'll have all the lights on in the establishment, including the ones on the main floor.
Recording. The phone is programmed to ring at midnight each night with a different message, even though all of them were already recorded. Which is weird considering what happens
I would
later.
just tape the
Phone Guy
doors.
alludes to the characters.
What if I just... Well, okay, wait, actually, now that I think about it. When the power goes out, how the fuck do the doors go back up? Okay, there's no power. So why doesn't it stay down when the power is out? Because there's no power to raise it. Like, what's with the power? Yeah, you go out and set up the generator while the animatronics roam. Go at daytime. It's your job. Just walk in. I've been preaching for this for years. Yeah, like, why does it not stay down? Like, I would purposely let the power go out so I could just chill in the little area. Would be a little troublesome to, you know, like, get out. Because I probably can't lift the door. And I don't want to break the window. Because they could climb through the window. Maybe.
Singing the same stupid songs for 20 years. This date will eventually become important, but for now it just means the restaurant has been around for a while and has clearly seen better days.
I always make the
He
joke
also
it's
mentions the bite
magnets,
of
and it
87.
takes power to stop
One
the
of the
door from being
animatronics
pushed
bit
up.
someone's head, which is unfortunate. Although we can gather that Phone Guy was employed back in 1987, which further teaches us some history of the building. The most alarming part, of course, is that the Phone Guy says the animatronics won't recognize Mike as human after hours, but will think we're a naked endoskeleton.
Our name is Mike. Mike. Oh wait, are we Mike Stitch or whatever his name was?
It's very unclear why this is the case, and what about it being night makes them unable
Schmidt.
to recognize
Schmidt.
humans.
We're Mike
I'll
Schmidt.
get back to that. The phone call for night 2
we're
only
just
includes
ones with the
gameplay
stupid name.
information describing how to use the
Have you been listening? Yes, I've been listening. Dude, it's been 22 minutes and all I know is like fucking there was kids that's it's been like the dolls are haunted, right? The dolls are haunted. the fucking kids got stuffed in there. But like they're not actually like in there or something. He didn't tell me if the
cameras and how Foxy's mechanic works. Night 3 has more story bits, with Phone Guy stating,
Most people don't
yo.
Night 3 has more story.
Party time! Party time! Eating time. Wait, someone put these posters. Why do they look so creepy in these posters? Weren't these supposed to look kind of fun? Huh? This doesn't look fun.
Story bits, with Phone Guy stating,
most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they died. That's not what I meant.
No one said anything about dying until he said that.
Serious or not, it might just be there to set the spooky mood.
One guy
or maybe
says
a bunch of employees have died, I don't know. I think it's more likely that nobody else has died because this topic never comes up again in the entire series.
What if Phone Guy is William
Afton? There have been many other night security guards, but that's not how I interpret it. I think that he's just saying that even the daytime shift and the daytime
what it sounds like when you say I'm a good guy. I am a good guy.
It says that he was the last security guard. So again, I just think that the high turnover rate is for the day crew. Night 4 has one of the most important.
Wait, there is a day crew? They are probably so happy. Wait, no, it's shut down, is it not? What?
Moments for the entire series. Take a listen.
Oh, hey.
I thought this shit was shut down.
I knew you could do it. Hey, listen. I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my message.
Golden Freddy's coming from.
So when I did, hey, do me a favor.
Is Phone Guy dead?
Sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know.
It's the mimic!
Phone Guy just died. Now stuff is getting real.
I guess
for
like
the tone
not the
of the
mimic.
Game, obviously, this is meant to ramp up tension for the final
guy.
nights of the game.
Is that the mimic?
Now it's actually hard. Now the tutorial
jukebox
guy is
dude.
dead. The wise old master has died, and now you must rise above him. Also, I bet Scott really regrets this because it really limits storytelling going forward. So the animatronics killed Phone Guy, and his body has been in the back room since before you started working here.
Sure.
Yeah, they're
Jukebox Fnaf. That's Jack. What the fuck is it called? A Jackbox? What is it called? Music box. The puppet. The mimic ain't even in the picture yet. Did he die to the puppet?
There's no way he's still alive. R.I.P. Phone Guy. So these animatronics, these monsters, are the real deal. Sure, in game over screens, they've killed.
It took us 4 nights to realize these are the real deal? Is the main character stupid?
You before if you fell at the game, but that's not technically canon. Obviously, your character Mike survives to the end of the game, but now
we're only getting $120?
Technically canon. Obviously, your character Mike survives.
Do we get paid every day? Or every month? Or every 2 weeks? Bi-weekly? Weekly?
To the end of the game. But now, in the story, canonically, they have killed. These things are murderers, monsters. Clearly, they are pure evil. Or not, maybe they have a good reason to kill the phone guy.
Yo, purple guy.
The Night 5 phone call sounds like this.
Is this Golden Freddy?
This audio is broken text from the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yoganda.
Is minimum wage for the time? Okay, let's do the math. Okay, 1980. Divided 1980. 87. So he said it took place around 1985. Money rate. $1 in 1985 is worth $3 today. So if we do a little calculation here, $120 times 3 is $360. I was making 1,000. Wait, 1,000. What did it say again? 360. I was making $640 more than this dude at McDonald's. Get a job at McDonald's, bro. Put the fries in a bag for a better paycheck.
Would it not be easily possible to employ some of them in quick laboratory experiments to indicate the influence of
Xbox 360 reference.
You are right. Apples will be made by keeping the rate. Seldom knows a perennial. The joy of creation.
Wait, the joy? Where the fuck is the joy? The joy. Oh,
The book is somewhat famous and is definitely something Scott
Who
may
the
have
fuck
picked
is
up
this
and read
dude?
just by going to college or being recommended it by a friend. People like Steve Jobs swear
Yogi
that
Bear.
it's like the greatest book ever. The final line became really popular in the fandom and birthed the phrase, "the joy of creation," which became a sort of tagline for the series.
that is
It
kind
brings
of
to mind a
aura.
sort of Frankenstein-like character, a mad scientist who derives their pleasure, their happiness from creating things, even if those things are abominations. But this is a misquote. The line is actually, "the joy of creative service." But that doesn't mean it's not important. Scott's writing and the fandom interpretation of the games are a sort of twin snake Ouroboros. They feed into each other in a
That's
constant
it.
loop.
That
So even
looks
though
like
that wasn't Scott's intention, it's
shit
very
that
possible
is
that
eating
the fans
itself.
interpreting the game this way led to the mad scientist Dr. Frankenstein character, who would eventually become the antagonist of the series. Now, if my college degree in English
Wait, he didn't know
literature
William
with a
Afton was
focus
gonna
in
be a
creative
person
writing
until
and a
later?
minor in philosophy has taught me anything, it's not to spend $120,000 on a liberal arts degree, but if it's taught me two things, it's when a work references or alludes to another work, that other work is important to the text's
Was this guy
themes.
free
And that
balling?
means that a true deep dive into Fnaf would require reading Autobiography of a Yogi in order to understand Scott's true intentions.
I hope that the writing
But
wasn't
this
a bit.
video
I
is
see.
long enough, and the lore is so deep that adding in
He
an
made the
entire
game randomly-
tangent about a
Well, okay, so, like-
90-year-old barely related book would just be gratuitous.
So the fans were just chatting shit for the first game.
So the book starts with a chapter about Yogananda growing up in India. Okay, so to cover this quickly, a yogi in simple terms is someone who practices yoga, but not modern American millennial Wii Fit yoga, like meditation as it actually is used in Indian religious practices. Basically, a yogi is like a monk. They're not a priest, they're not a religious
kinda
leader,
like the-
but they've devoted their life to living
It's
their
kind of like the opposite of Undertale, because Toby Scott only made Undertale because he wanted to get experience or something, I'm pretty sure, for Deltaville. So it's kind of like the opposite.
religious practices to the fullest. Yogananda is a yogi from the 1900s who wrote this book in the 40s, and it talks about his life and beliefs and spirituality and things like that.
Fans
This book
were
is
instill
obviously a
chatting
religious
shit.
text of a religion I don't practice, and a religion Scott doesn't practice.
This
I
seems just
absolutely do
interesting.
not mean to belittle anyone's faith by comparing the philosophy
Fnaf, he made a bunch of games for me. Yes. That was in the lower video. So he tried to make it a horror game. Yeah, it was like Chipper dude. Chipper guy.
in this book to jump scare bear game. But some of the themes are important. I'm approaching this as a Westerner who's interested in the philosophy and not as a believer or
Westerner.
a preacher of the religion. Yogananda is not the author's
Why
birth
couldn't a
name.
European
He
make this
gained
video?
that new name after joining his religious brotherhood, kind of like how the Pope chooses a new name once they become the Pope. Paramahansa is a title within Hindu belief. To quote from Wikipedia, which I hate using as a source, but for this it seems fine, Paramahansa is a Sanskrit religio-theological title of honor applied to Hindu spiritual
me and
teachers who
Fulu
have
in
become
that picture.
enlightened. The title literally means Supreme Swan. So the guy's name is Yogananda. His birth name was Mukunda, and he has the title of Paramahansa,
Wikipedia
all of
hitter
which I
spotted.
probably am pronouncing
The
wrong.
fan Wikipedias are good.
So Yogananda's faith includes the idea of reincarnation.
Kind of.
And in
Depends
the
on the
first few
character.
paragraphs of the book, he talks about his
Dude,
link
I
to
gotta
his
take a
past
piss.
life, and how there
But I
have
don't
been
wanna
many
miss the
wise
lore.
men over the years who are more capable of remembering their past lives than others.
Wait,
and
actually, surely I wouldn't need to know about Yogi Bear.
how the true human essence isn't bound to the body, which is
Did I
what
just go
allows
pee
for
real quick? I'm gonna go pee
reincarnation.
real quick.
Our spirit is different from our body, and can find new bodies. This book is really good, and I recommend anyone interested in philosophy read it. So Yogananda's mother dies when he's 12, and on her deathbed she says she wants him to become a monk, and that when he was a baby he was blessed by a guru, and that she always knew he would be a great monk. So this sets him out on a path. He meets some more wise men. One of them tells him, God is simple, everything else is complex, which is just such a good line. Yogananda hears these men talking about a great physicist, and he's interested in the physicist because India is known for its metaphysical pioneering, for its philosophy, and not necessarily for its science. So a famous Indian scientist is kind of something of a figure of national pride. So he seeks out the scientist, who tells him about his time at Cambridge. The scientist, whose name is Bose, is very famous, and he invented what in simple terms is a microscope that lets you look specifically at living plants. Bose demonstrates to Yogananda how he can introduce a poison to a plant which causes it to cease growing. Then he can add the antidote, which causes it to start growing again. Quote, "The evolutionary gestures on the screen held me more raptly than a movie plot. My companion, here in the role of a villain, thrust a sharp implement through a part of the fern. Pain was indicated by spasmodic flutters. When he passed a razor partially through the stem, the shadow was violently agitated, then stilled itself with the final punctuation of death." Bose then says, "Graphs of my delicate apparatus have proved that trees possess a circulatory system. Their sap movements correspond to the blood pressures of animal bodies. I will show you my experiments on a piece of tin. The life force in metals responds adversely or beneficially to stimuli. My instruments have demonstrated that metals, such as the steel used in scissors and machinery, are subject to fatigue and regain efficiency by periodic rest. The life pulse in metals is seriously harmed or even extinguished through the application of electric current or heavy pressure. Countless uses of Bose's instruments will be made by future generations. The scientist seldom knows contemporaneous reward. It is enough to possess the joy of creative service." And that's what happened. Bose's research that the electrical pathway of information used by plants is similar to animals and humans led, decades later, to the idea that we can study plants instead of animals to see how they're stimulated by electricity. Quote, "The electrical nerve impulses in the plant were found to be much slower than those in animals. This discovery was therefore seized upon by Columbia workers as a means for taking slow-motion pictures of the passage of the electrical impulses in nerves." So this passage quoted in Five Nights at
Guys, you wouldn't
Freddy's is
believe
about
this.
how an inventor may never
When I went into my bathroom, Chica was there. Dude, I had such a fun time. It only took me 3 seconds.
see the true fruits of their labor, and that they should be content by simply using their creativity to add to the cause. Also, it's saying that metal reacts similarly to animals when stimulated. The website fnaflore.com claims, "The chapter noted is full of
fnaflore.com.
research depicting metal as a living organism through the method of experimentation with chloroform." This is an extreme overreach. It's not full of research. There's a single paragraph about tin reacting similarly to plants because tin carries an electric current, because it's metal. If anything, the point is that living things behave like metal in the way that we conduct electricity. Much, much later in the timeline of Fnaf, it will be revealed that the animatronics are possessed, and that the manner of possession is that the metal of the endoskeleton contain a substance called a remnant. So like what remains, the remnant of a soul or of life
remnant of
force.
child.
This passage seems to be kind of the impetus for Scott's idea, the idea that metal can be stimulated the same way a human is controlled by electric currents,
Kind
and
of a
thus
cool
electricity
idea.
coursing through metal in a specific way can mimic the life that inhabits human bodies. So the possession is sort of like an imprint of your nervous system's electrical pathways on the endoskeleton of the animatronics.
They kind of have to be
and
alive
thus
to do
they
that,
mimic
though.
your brain patterns, your wants, your desires. This later is slightly contradicted given that we see actual ghosts, but the line from this chapter of Autobiography of a Yogi to Fnaf makes sense. It explains how possession occurs. Your nervous system creates pathways for electricity on a robot that mimics your consciousness. With all of that said, this exact sound comes from a sound library that Scott is known to use where the audio was already distorted, so maybe it means nothing at all.
Oh. Dude. Of course it meant nothing at all. Bro just saw a cool audio and thought it would be cool to add it. So of course there's no way he had like he was like, oh yeah, that sounds sick. I'm gonna add that to my game.
The phone call on night 5, the one that quotes Autobiography
People
of
are
a
really
Yogi,
super
was
intimidated.
obviously recorded
Yeah, especially
and programmed
since like he probably thought this was gonna be a one-off. Maybe he just wanted to get his name out there. There's no way he thought this was gonna become a series. So, Phone Guy dying was probably like that's why he regrets it. Because he regrets Phone Guy dying. So in later games, I assume that Phone Guy doesn't come back unless there's a new Phone Guy. That's why the storytelling is somewhat limited. Because he only thought it was only going to be one game. But then he probably saw the money roll in, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to make this a series. And then he kind of just, like, he probably used the fan theories to make the lore for the, like, FNAF 2, FNAF 3. And just had, technically, he didn't do shit. It was all the fans. So he just kind of took the fans' ideas and was like, yeah, that sounds sick. I'm going to make that into reality. He played the long con. He played the game.
Play on our 5th night after the phone guy died. Either phone guy was listening to the audiobook and the recording picked it up, or it was something more spiritual. One of the spirits is making us hear this for some reason. After night 5, you receive your paycheck. Mike Schmidt made $120, and the date is November 12th of some year.
Okay, if after 5 days you get your check, then I think it is weekly. So that's about... I mean, yeah, that's about like 1,200 every month. Still terrible, but not bad.
Based on this information, Mike was making $4 an hour, but that was his take-home money. That doesn't count Social Security or taxes, so he was making more than 4, but not significantly more than 4. In 1990, the minimum wage was raised to $4.25, and in 96, it was raised to $4.75. Also, in 1990, the Social Security tax rate was raised to 6.2% of a paycheck. Medicare was also 1.4%. These have not changed since 1990. That means that 7.65% of your paycheck gets taken out before you see it. So if you take home $120, you actually earned $129.93. That's $4.33 an hour. So the game takes place in November of 1990, 91, 2, 3, 4, or 5. We will be able to pin this date down later. After completing night 5, we come back for some overtime.
Does it do what it is in
After night 6,
Argentina?
we get this pink paycheck for $120.50, and we are Employee of the Month. There is then a night 7, or custom mode, where you can set the aggressiveness of the animatronics. After beating this night, Mike is promptly fired for tampering with the animatronics, general unprofessionalism, and odor.
Is this canon?
They really don't want you touching these animatronics and getting their stinky corpse rot on you. This is the story of FNAF 1, but what I left out are the random details and random events that can happen while you're playing. The Easter eggs. Randomly, posters
got,
on
like,
the wall will
two-
change and
like,
show you
two,
a yellow
3
bear
paychecks
costume
and then they
with
fired
lifeless
him?
eyes, and occasionally a full, slumped-over suit will appear in front of you in the room. Flashing faces of the animatronics will also take up the entire screen, accompanied by the words, "It's me." This is often misstated online as being text that accompanies pictures of the yellow bear, but it's actually all of the animatronics, and the sign outside of Foxy's curtain will also change to "It's me." People have since associated these words with the yellow bear, but there's actually nothing connecting them except for the fact that they're
Golden
both hallucinations. Hallucinations. Besides the newspaper clippings, this suit was the only real indication that something supernatural was going on. Also, the poster sometimes changed to this crying sad boy face. The yellow bear suit is obviously haunted, and it can teleport around. If you keep looking at it, your game will crash, and that's spooky.
Really?
Markiplier dubbed this character Golden Freddy, and the community would take to this name. Eventually,
Markiplier came up with the name Golden Freddy? Well, his real name is like Springtrap, no? I'm pretty sure. But that is... Well, I'm pretty sure there's no Springtrap is someone else. He's probably gonna
that would
explain it.
become the name the games refer to him as in a meta way. Like in the game's menus and settings, he would be called Golden Freddy. But within the story, he has a different name, and we'll get back to that later.
Bruh.
So, who is me? Why did the animatronics kill Phone
Purple guy.
Why does Mike come back every day despite the threat of death?
Wait, yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
wondering.
now is when we talk about Matt Pat.
Matt Pat!
Matt Pat is an internet personality who runs a massive YouTube network focused on theory channels. He is the
I love
showrunner
Matt
and
Pat.
narrator of videos on the channels Game Theory, Film Theory, Food Theory, and Style Theory, as well as uploading Let's Plays on the channel Game Theory Live.
Not anymore.
Game
Since-
Theory has been around for over 10 years, and in the early 2010s focused mainly on nostalgic, evergreen Nintendo titles, and the occasional modern hit, like the burgeoning Assassin's Creed franchise.
Dude,
After
Matt
the
Pat would
original Five
not
Nights at
be
Freddy's was
nearly
released,
as famous
Matt Pat
without
was
Fnaf.
inundated with requests to solve the game's lore. Originally, he was apprehensive to
Actually,
do so
maybe
because
he
the game's
would.
story was so cut and dry. Matt decided to go
But I feel
a
like his best
different
videos were
route
his
for his
Fnaf
video. Matt makes several styles of game theory videos. Sometimes he talks about the overt story of a game and dissects them like you would a novel in English class. Sometimes he goes over the historical accuracy of games, or what secret meanings they might have given the context of their creations. And sometimes he just chugs a green smoothie trying to give himself super strength. Yes, this happened.
Yummy.
So for Fnaf, with the
Some
story
Popeye
simple
shit.
and seemingly solved, Matt decided to look into what the game might be saying on a deeper level, leading to what I believe should be the most controversial video on his channel. I don't think Matt will ever take it down because it has so many views, and because it started the second era of his channel, where Fnaf and games like it dominated the focus of his videos. But to be honest, it's definitely the
I
black
have
sheep
seen the
of all
video
of his videos.
of him play
Matt's first
Fnaf.
FNAF
I thought it
theory
was
is about how the
scripted,
game
but
might have been made to reference a real-world
I guess
murder
it's not?
that happened at a Chuck E. Cheese's.
December 1993, Aurora, Colorado. 10 p.m. Tuesday night at a local Chuck E. Cheese. At 10:05, he left the bathroom, pulled out a small caliber handgun, and proceeded to execute everyone
What?
in the building. This story is the one that inspired Five Nights at Freddy's.
A disgruntled former
What the fuck
employee
do you mean
broke
he
in
pulled
after
out a-
hours and shot some of his former co-workers, killing them. Matt traces the steps of the killer and the places his victims fell.
is
and
this
compares them
real?
to
Wait,
the locations in Fnaf and the actions of the animatronics. Matt concludes.
wait, no, it's fake. It's so fake. It's real? But this is the FNAF? Wait,
The
what?
locations in Fnaf.
So he made a parody of these murders and made it fit within FNAF? Controversial. What would the word you use for it? Because I feel like this would be fucking controversial. He's not a parody.
And the actions of the animatronics. Matt concludes that the game is telling a story of similar events, and that the ghostly appearance of Golden Freddy and the animatronics coming to kill you are actually the torment in the afterlife for the killer. This is not true. This was a big stretch at the time, and is certainly, with hindsight, not what the game is about. A lot of people are uneasy about the fact that in this video about Fnaf of all things, Matt tells the story of a real-world shooting. It is handled with tact, and Matt says in the video he does not mean to make light of the situation.
This is a tragic story, a disgusting waste of human life, and one that I won't joke about or make fun of in any way.
But the fact is that forever, these people who died not too long ago and who still have families that remember the incident will always have their legacy tied to the funny jump scare bear game. Matt also uses the real-world shooting to pinpoint the game as taking place in 1993. 93 is when the shooting happened. It fits our minimum wage sweet spot, and in 93, the 12th was a Friday, which makes sense as a day that you'd get your paycheck on. After this video, the community has almost unanimously agreed that Five Nights at Freddy's 1 takes place in 1993. They are wrong. We will get back to that later. MatPat's theory was that the character, Mike, is the murderer, and that the game is his eternal punishment in death.
Killing your coworkers at a Chuck E. Cheese.
It's also a place you can't escape from. Why you find yourself back there night after night, even after you complete your 5 nights.
5 devs. Chica, Bonnie, Freddy, Foxy, Golden Freddy. The deadline.
See you back next week, the ending text goes. You're unable to leave the—
I don't think they're complaining on how well it lines up. I think they are complaining more about him using the deaths of people for a FNAF like video. It's kind of like those people that say Squid Games is based off like those games like in like Korea or some shit that is like Squid Games based off real life events. Yeah, like these things. I don't know if this is true though. I mean, it does look like Squid Games, but I don't think it turned out to not be true. I'm pretty sure. It's AI. Well, yeah, of course, yeah, it's fake. You FNAF, Shinji, you're gonna get banned.
This terror, the threat of death, the guilt.
This doesn't really make any sense since he gets fired at the end, but it was a creative interpretation at the time.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2! Wait, phone guy's back?
Hello. Well, if you're hearing this, then chances are you've made a very poor career choice.
How is phone guy back? I don't need 8-hour Andy trash talking Batman. You are really offended. No trash talk the goat. He is the goat, but if he made that video in the big 2026, he would definitely almost get cancelled. Go pull out Yogi. You are so angry.
Now introducing the toy variations of the core characters. The toys appear alongside the old version of the characters, and some new characters are introduced, like Mangle and Balloon Boy. There are no doors this time around,
FNAF?
so to fight back against the animatronics, you have to put on a Freddy mask, so they think you are in costume and they won't stuff you. Also, there's a music box.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Ika.
on one of the cameras, otherwise this creepy marionette will wake up and kill you. The game, much like the first one,
So this is in the past,
revolves
I
around
assume.
this puzzle of figuring out how to stop each animatronic. The animatronics coming at you from either side of the room can't get you if you're looking at them. They can only move when you're looking at your cameras, but you have to look at your cameras to wind the music box. But you can't just wind the music box and then check the room for creatures and then wait for the box again. You also have to check down the dark hallway in front of you, where Foxy tries to reach you. Foxy can only be stopped by flashing your flashlight at him, which has limited batteries. So you have to juggle the battery usage,
there's Mangle
your time
too.
between winding the box, and also keep checking for the animatronics coming at you through the vent. As it gets harder, it kind of becomes like a rhythm game, where you're doing the same actions over and over and only changing it up if you have to quickly react to something.
If Fnaf 2 is before, okay, so it's okay, so like the time, okay, because in Fnaf 1 you were Mike, but the fans speculated that before Mike was Phone Guy. So are you playing as Phone Guy, or is Phone Guy the guy on the phone still?
Fnaf 2 is considered the hardest in the series because at some points you need to react fast enough, within a fraction of a second, to put your mask on. Funnily enough, Fnaf 2 is actually the easiest to beat on console because putting your mask up is as easy as hitting a button, and there's nothing stopping you from pressing the button over and over as you wind the music box, thus always having perfect timing if you need to put the mask on. Fnaf 2 was released in November of 2014, about 3 months after the first. Fnaf 3
Dude, this is what I'm saying. Bonnie would make a perfect femboy. Like, I know I'm not the only one seeing it.
Not long after, in March of 2015. It's hard to explain
for people
who weren't there at the time how hype these releases were. FNAF 1 was an instant phenomenon, and I would equate it to how the only pure way to play Pokemon is in the 90s before the internet, where you're swapping rumors and legends back and forth on the playground. So many of them were total garbage, but they sounded true, and some of them were actually true, even though they sounded like total garbage.
No, we know.
FNAF 1 was so mysterious.
What is bro talking about? He's talking. I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. He's saying that FNAF is basically a bunch of rumors, kind of like how Pokemon was back in the day, where people were saying like, "Oh, did you know if you go under the truck, you'll get a special Pokemon," which ended up being true. And there's also some other shit that was like made up about Pokemon Red and Blue. I get what he's saying.
And plot and atmospherically wise, that if someone told you there was a secret way to beat a night faster, you might believe them. And there is. You can literally just press a single button on the keyboard to skip an entire night. Or if you said that there's a 1 in 10,000 chance of seeing something nobody had ever seen before, well, there was kind of that too. There's also a fan theory at the time that Foxy was actually a good guy, and that the reason that he came and ran to your office when he didn't look at the camera long enough was because he was checking on you to make sure that you were okay. And the reason that he doesn't jump scare you and instead just leans in the door is because he's not trying to kill you. And the real reason you die is because you have a heart attack when he's in there. Are
we fucking stupid? That's what the fans came up with. Are we stupid? Are we stupid? That is like connecting the dots from fucking Mars all the way to Earth. Like, oh, the reason you died was because of a heart attack. I mean,
counted as interesting.
I'll be back. I hear screaming. What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? The bite of 26.
Discourse at the time, but the mysterious, random appearances of Golden Freddy
It's Golden
crashing your
Freddy.
game. So that's Golden Freddy, so you don't want to look at it. And the myths about ways to beat Foxy, or patterns you could do to get through the night faster, spread around, kind of like how little kids would spread rumors on the playground and tell you that holding down the B button makes catching a Pokemon easier. Every time
Oh my god.
a new Fnaf game came out, it was like part of the puzzle fit into place better.
Who the fuck is that?
Each game was like its own little puzzle box, with each animatronic being
Wait, is that the new, technically the new Bonnie? Because this is in the past? So like, did they just fix him up?
fit into place
Right? Oogly boogly.
better. Each game was like its own little puzzle box, with each animatronic being its own riddle. And the trilogy itself was like
Oh my god.
a puzzle, with each game being its own mystery, and it was structured in
Dude,
such
I can't be the other one that looks like he would be a good fed boy.
a way that every layer was important. And there was this implied
Okay, hold on. Oh no! Let's see here. Oh my goodness. I was right. Look at this. Oh ho. Hold on, Bonnie. Hold on. Dude, I was right. Wait, you guys can't see it. Here we go. Wait, let me move over to this side. Holy shamoly. Oh ho. I might need to change my answer, guys.
promise that solving it was possible, and that there was this grand revelation in store for whoever
We should
could
not
figure it out.
be here.
When FNAF 2 came out,
There isn't even
MatPat, of
anything
course,
bad.
released a follow-up theory.
He's a bunny.
FNAF 2 had a lot more lore in it. When you
A metal
die,
bunny.
there's a chance that you might play a mini-game that mimics the look of Atari games from
Wait,
the 80s.
that's cool.
These mini-games introduced the murderer of the series, this purple guy, who the fans call
This is where purple guy comes from?
and we get to see some of his killings. The gameplay of FNAF 2 is similar to the first. There's 5 nights, but actually 7, and you survive from midnight to 6 a.m., and you gotta stop the animatronics from jump-scaring you. The only animatronic who doesn't overtly kill you is Balloon Boy,
Balloon Boy,
who
my
sneaks into the
goat!
room and steals the batteries out of your flashlight, meaning that you can't stop Foxy. This is not instant death, but it's likely death. You also can't be killed by JJ.
Who the fuck
Who's
is JJ?
JJ is this pink version of Balloon Boy who randomly appears under your desk on very rare occasions.
What's he doing
It's
under my
literally just there
desk?
to scare you. But it does mean that JJ exists as an animatronic. He or she is a real important character. There's also an endoskeleton walking around.
Oh.
It does not have a suit. This is, of course, against the rules, and so
That looks like-
theoretically he should be getting shoved in a costume. But I guess the rules are different for him. So the first game
Wait, but if all the animatronics are like human, right? How come he doesn't have a human body? So the human has already infected this place.
theoretically, he should be getting shoved in a costume, but I guess the rules are different for him. So the first game had Phone Guy, but he's dead. So you might be asking if this game has an equivalent to Phone Guy.
Why is
and
Phone
it
Guy
does.
purple?
It has Phone Guy.
Is he purple? Purple guy?
Hello.
Phone guy?
Hello and welcome to your new summer
Purple
job
guy.
at the new and improved
I'm
Freddy
connecting the
Fazbear
dots.
Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget
The ones in
anything you
FNAF 2
may have
aren't
heard
haunted?
about the old locations, you know. Some people still have a somewhat
Wait. Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure. Because they said, like, this is in the past, right? So he... Wait, no, because the minigames are him doing the killings.
Negative
These
impression of the
Fnaf
company.
fans,
That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. They've spent...
Wait, it's Fazbear Entertainment now, not Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. It's just an it's not pizzeria anymore. So this is like a whole new facility.
a small fortune on these new animatronics.
Unless this is like the parent company. I mean, it is a new facility, because this doesn't even look like even close to what we have now.
Facial recognition, advanced mobility.
So Phone Guy is alive, and that's because this game is a prequel. That's right, despite the 2 in the title and all the talk about Freddy's reopening, this game is a prequel. This game takes place in the location before the first Fnaf's Pizzeria.
Oh my god.
And since this is a reopening, that means there was another place before this one. 3 Freddy's locations, with this being the second one,
God
and the one in
damn.
the original FNAF being the third one. Phone Guy welcomes you to this summer job. That's a mistake. Like, literally, it's a typo. The game takes place in November. Scott will later make fun of this mistake in one of the future games.
Are you sure it was a typo? I feel like I feel like he just made fun of it because he's making fun of how stupid he was.
Okay, so you're a new employee, and your name is Jeremy. And we're told the old restaurant was left to rot. Some people think negatively of the company, and now they're committed to safety.
Oh my god, what a bad...
Left to rot. Some people think negatively of the
What a baddie.
company.
Yeah, come get me! Oh, come get me! Ladies, ladies, ladies. Ladies, ladies, ladies. One at a time. One at a time.
And now they're committed to safety. So that first Freddy's location is clearly where the murders happened. Sorry, not the murders. The missing children incident. Missing, not murders. We know that they were stuffed into suits, but bodies were never found, so they weren't murdered, they're just missing.
This
is
that
my
the
favorite
recordings
part.
are old?
They even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat?
If you remember the phone calls from FNAF 1, then you know what this means. Animatronics would walk around during the day until the bite of 87, meaning this game takes place before the bite of 87.
Wait, that's true!
I love Scott's cough there, because he knows that we know exactly what that means.
You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week, but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift.
Jeremy is also the second night guard at this location.
I thought the bite of
first complained about poor
87 was when the company had, like, children in it. Like, I thought he bit a cat. I thought he bit a kid. But there's no way that they would open it up again after all the controversy. Wait, no, this is a prequel. So if this is, but no, there was still the first establishment. So it doesn't matter if this is a prequel or not, because this is the second establishment. So they let them open up another, like, place and let children go in there after 5 missing kids?
And was changed to the day shift. He only worked for 1 week before switching, meaning that your first day is the building's 8th day of operations.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older...
Bite of 87 happened in the first establishment? But this is the second establishment, no? And it's before 87. Yup. So the first establishment is still open. So why are all the animatronics at the second establishment? It shouldn't be before 87? He just said it was...
models sitting in the back room.
I swear he said it was before.
Location, and we just use them for parts now.
Only worked for 1 week before switching, meaning that your first day is the building's 8th day of operation.
Back room.
Oh not gonna find
Those
it.
are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. But they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell. Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around. But if they do...
Wait, yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that it was before 87.
Day. Isn't that neat?
If you remember the phone calls from FNAF 1, then you know what this means. Animatronics would walk around during the day until the bite of 87, meaning this game takes place before the bite of 87.
Yeah.
I love Scott's cough there because he knows that
Those are from the previous location, and we just... those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around. But if they do, the whole Freddy head trick...
Does they walk around at night or daytime? Because the bite of 87 hasn't happened yet.
From them too, so whatever.
the Night 2 phone call mentions that the old animatronics are being kept in the back room for parts. They're from the old location. These are called the withered animatronics because they're kind of decrepit, but it also tells us that these suits are from the first location. These are the ones with the bodies in them, and they're present in this building.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always...
Oh, so only the first
can go anywhere.
establishment
I don't think the Freddy mask will fool us. So
had bodies in them?
Don't forget the music box.
Phone Guy keeps bringing up the puppet animatronic that can be stopped by winding
So
the music
the
box.
Fnaf
He says it
1,
can go
the Freddy
anywhere. That basically
was
means
just
it can float
haunted.
and
There's no
fly.
body in him.
He also says it's always thinking. Now, when you first boot up the game, you're met with this cutscene. You're in the location from FNAF 1. Your point of view is inside
It'll be
Freddy's
a
head,
lot more
and you're just
detailed.
looking
Okay.
around. When the scene ends, the words, "It's me," appear on screen. These scenes, which the game's files label as nightmares, happen between every night, until, eventually, the puppet comes and stares at you.
Uh-oh.
So someone is
That
saying,
is
"It's
terrifying."
me," to someone. Maybe to the spirit inside of Freddy, but I think it's more likely it would be being said to the person having the nightmare. Someone is saying, "It's me," to a person who is dreaming that they're Freddy. And since "It's me" was said to Mike Schmidt in FNAF 1, I think the person dreaming that they're Freddy is Mike. Now, the puppet is not in FNAF 1, so this either indicates that after the events of the game we're currently playing, Mike will eventually dream about his time in the FNAF 1 location and then the puppet will appear. Or it implies that the first Freddy's location, where the MCI happened, is the same physical building as the FNAF 1 location. They opened in that building, the children vanished, they closed down, they opened this new building, it closes after the bite of 87, then they go back to the location in the first game. And then that one also closes by year's end.
So the bite of 87 happened in this... Okay. So the first establishment, nothing bad happened. It was, or I guess, the dude here. And then this is where the shit went down. Wait, but that doesn't... I don't think that makes sense. Well, it could make sense. And when you get into doing, like, prequels, it fucking gets confusing.
This would mean that these dreams about the puppet take place before the main gameplay of FNAF 2. And I think that that's the explanation. I think that's it, but we'll get back to that. Phone Guy also says that the old location was left to rot, and FNAF 1 is definitely rotting by the time of the game. On night 3, Phone Guy talks about Foxy, his favorite little boy. He says they redesigned Foxy to be more kid-friendly, but the kids tore him apart.
His favorite little boy?
So this
What
Foxy
is that
is now
sentence?
called Mangle. At the end of the phone call is the most interesting and annoying part of the story.
Oh, hey, before I go, I wanted to ease your mind about any rumors you might have heard lately. You know how these local stories come and go and seldom mean anything.
Would have been better
personally
structured by
assure
following
you
the order of timeline.
that whatever is
I'm pretty sure he does go in timeline after. Wait. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just goes in timeline here. Going to see it out. Wait, should I just watch this last part? I think it's in timeline order? Is it? I'm pretty sure it is a timeline order. But we can't even see the red bar on the screen? Really? Wait, why not? Wait, you guys can't even see the title either. That's weird. Is it? No, it's not because it's cropped off. You just can't see it. Wait, if I did this? Yeah, I think it's because I'm in full screen. Wait, let me... I can't see shit on this tiny screen. Let me move Subway Surfers. Let me pull this down so I can see. Okay, here. Oh, it's because I'm in the way. See? It's like there's like one long strand of just Five Nights at Freddy's. And I'm pretty sure it's just like he goes in timeline order, I think. Wait, okay, I'm at 52:43. Okay, I'm at 52.
Wrong. And if I want one thing to come out of this video, it's for MatPat to notice me and give me a clap and a half. But if I want two things to come out of this video, it's for other people to pick up the pieces from where I've left them and to try to figure out the story of Cassidy and video game theory. So now let's get to the final section of this video. Starting over and summarizing everything in chronological order.
Bro, are you serious?
Let's begin. And that's a weird thing to say.
I could've just watched it.
But
I mean, honestly, I found the video pretty interesting. And I would probably watch this if it wasn't like on stream. But for the sake of stream, you know, I would probably just watch this part.
What are you gonna do about it?
Cause like, if I were to stream all this, it'll probably take me fucking like 4 streams to watch the whole video.
In 1972,
okay, hold on.
Video game designer and businessman Henry Emily partnered with William Afton, an engineer and roboticist, to open a mascot restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner. Fredbear's featured 2 animatronic characters, Fredbear, a play on Teddy Bear, and Bonnie, the bunny.
The bunny bear?
Both were yellow and confined to their stage. Actors wearing mascot suits, often William and Henry themselves, would serve food to guests. It was an all-around, family-friendly atmosphere. Henry had 2 children, a young girl named Charlie and her twin brother Sam. William had 2 children, his eldest son, Michael, who was born in 1969, and a young baby named Cece,
Bro, that's
born a
Isaac.
year after opening Fredbear's in 1973. He and his wife were planning on having a 3rd child, and hoped it would be a girl. Fredbear's was successful, but small. Not exactly a booming entrepreneurial achievement, but popular enough in their hometown. Other mascot restaurants existed and
it's the
predated
hippo.
Fredbear's.
It's the elephant from Mimic. And the gator. And what Chica? Chica, hey. Put on that red lipstick just for me. Got the what are these things called? The maracas. He's trying to get into the Mexican of me.
Like Chica's Party World, which focused on kookier characters like Chica the Hungry Chicken, Orville the Magician Elephant, and Happy Frog, a frog who is happy.
That's a frog? I thought that was a... Okay,
Put
whatever.
Fredbear's on the map was one of William's new inventions, Springlock suits. These allowed the same costume to be worn to deliver food to kids by cast members, and also to sing on stage. In order to compensate,
I know where this is
rival
going.
Chica's Party World introduced Ned Bear to their lineup, overtly copying Fredbear's design. Between the Springlock suits and the video games Henry was developing around their characters, Chica's Party World could not compete. In the mid-70s, the two businesses merged, keeping Chica as a recognizable icon.
Wait, so
and folding
Chica
her
was
in
just a
with the
knockoff
Fredbear's
of
cast.
Freddy Fazbear.
William and Henry decided to expand, and so, in a different town, they opened up Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Freddy's was a new start now that they had an extended roster of characters, so they decided to slightly alter Fredbear, now
Make him
going by
brown.
Freddy into a brown bear, and Bonnie into a blue bunny. The last addition to the cast was Foxy,
But they still kept the golden shoe, because Golden Freddy.
the pirate fox. Henry and William continued to run and operate Fredbear's Family Diner for years as their success grew, and they continued to franchise out their characters. In 1978, William had his third child, Elizabeth. When the 80s came around, Henry and William licensed out their characters to a cartoon studio, who produced Fredbear and Friends, which included the cast of Freddy's Pizza, but still kept Fredbear as the headliner, as his own
He went back to
unique
yellow.
character. William's two sons had a mildly adversarial relationship. Mike was a bully, and while Cece wasn't weak, he fought back and tried to prank his brother just as much as he himself got pranked. Mike, as the older brother, always came out on top. In 1983, the Aftons were living large. Freddy's was a huge success, and William was getting even better at honing his craft. Foxy, as the new and least nostalgic of the characters, was under fire for being slightly too scary. Mike definitely thought so, because he used a Foxy mask to scare Cece whenever he could. Cece responded by tearing the head off of his Foxy plush, not bearing to see the face anymore.
You know what?
After
I hope he becomes Foxy when he dies.
More parents complained, William redesigned Foxy to be less scary, making him pink and white, and more like a friendly dog. They rebranded Pirates Cove to Kids Cove. The new rebrand didn't really work out. The toddlers and young kids who were there to play with new Foxy were too rough, and he had to be repaired every single night after closing. The staff started calling the animatronic the Mangle affectionately, due to how badly mangled he'd get by the end of the day. Tired of having to repair him, they just left him in shambles and let kids play with the pieces in a lazy way of still using the character without having to keep fixing him up. They then brought back Foxy, and nobody really cared. Besides restaurants and cartoons, there was also a lot of merchandise. Plushies were made to be offered as prizes at Freddy's to incentivize kids to spend countless quarters on arcade games, and plastic toys were also sold of the
those
characters.
are creepy.
This toy line was in development during the period when Foxy temporarily was retired, so they only made toys of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, as well as an eventual Mangle toy that came apart and could be reconstructed. The animatronics at Freddy's had to stay in motion even when the restaurant was closed, so that the servos wouldn't lock up. So at night, they roamed around the building aimlessly, and some guards had some uncomfortable brushes with them when the animatronics detected them as naked endoskeletons and tried to force suits onto them. This mildly scary but harmless and,
That's just
in
built into the
hindsight, kind
program?
of funny information leaked out of the company, and it became rather common knowledge around town. A playground rumor started that the animatronics actually come to life at night, and if they catch you, they'll make you into an animatronic too. Cece, who naturally spent a lot of time at Fredbear's given that his father was a co-owner, saw a cast member getting into costume in a dark back room. His overactive imagination made him think he was seeing an animatronic that had come to life and was stuffing the employee into a suit. Cece became scared of the restaurant and of the animatronics, but he still felt like the characters were his friends. His favorite was his Fredbear plush.
How do we tell bro?
Cece's 10th birthday was coming up, and his father was preparing to throw him a large party at Fredbear's.
Is he the kid that's gonna get
Obviously,
bit?
given that he was a co-owner, and Cece's only friends appeared to be Freddy's characters, everybody thought this would be a good idea. William was too busy to notice that something had changed in his son over the last few days. But Mike noticed, and he kept relentlessly bullying his brother, including locking him in the parts and services room of Fredbear's overnight. On the day of Cece's party, everything came to a head. Every kid in the neighborhood was there, including Mike and his 3 older friends. Cece couldn't help but hide under a table and cry, wishing he was anywhere else on his birthday. Then, Mike's bullying went too far. He and his friends lifted Cece up and walked him close to the animatronic Fredbear. They tried to stuff him in Fredbear's mouth so he could give him a kiss, and then...
His brother got him killed!
Cece was rushed to the hospital, where he lived for a few more days. As he laid in his coma, his brother came to speak to him, apologizing for what he had done. His father sat in agony over his child, placing his favorite Fredbear plush in his arms, trying to comfort the boy, hoping it would somehow seep down into his coma dreams, if he was having any. William sat over the bed with all of Cece's toys, speaking to him in his Bonnie performer voice.
You're broken.
He was trying to downplay the injury. He wasn't hurt, he was broken. Like a toy, or like a machine. A machine that William knew how to fix, that he fixed every day.
We are still your friends. Do you believe that?
So,
Cece's unconscious body did...
your kid gets bit by Freddy Fazbear. Or Freddy. And your thought is to put his Freddy plush next to him to get into his coma dreams? Dude, he's gonna have fucking nightmares about the guy. Like, are you, like, come on, like, be a little smarter, get him a new fucking plushie.
Didn't seem to be responding positively to William's attempts to reach him. William realized that Cece might associate the 4 plushes of the Freddy's cast with the 4 boys who had harmed him. So William took them off the bed. He waved the Fredbear plush around.
I'm still here. I will put you back together.
But as he spoke, Cece began to flatline. He died in front of his father, with only the Fredbear plush beside him. Little did William know, but in that moment, his son Cece imprinted onto the doll. His memories brought the plush into partial consciousness.
What?
His spirit started to possess it.
You mean
in order to distance themselves from the incident, Fazbear Entertainment changed Fredbear's look. He went from purple accessories to black, and they downplayed his role in the company, looking more toward the untainted Freddy to be the face of the company. William took some time off, letting Henry run the business for a bit. Henry's robotics weren't quite as advanced as William's, but he did excel at making video games. This period in the company led to such amazing titles as Foxy Go Go Go, Take Cake to the Children, Mangle's Quest, Fruity Maze, Midnight Motorist, and 2 games featuring 2 new characters. Balloon Boy's Air Adventure, who was so popular that they made him into a human boy animatronic who handed out balloons, and Give Gifts, a game where you play as the new marionette character, who handed out prizes at the prize corner. William went on to blame Mike for the death of Cece. Where everyone else saw it as a prank that had gone horribly wrong, William thought it was Mike's fault.
It is his fault.
And Henry, who had built the Fredbear animatronic. It wasn't one of his advanced suits, it was Henry's model. William refused to blame himself, so he blamed Mike and Henry. Henry, whose skill was programming, not robotics, altered the marionette into a security device for his children.
Wait, what? Why is he saying think? It is, first of all, it is Mike's fault. Cause he's the fucking idiot that put his own brother in the fucking mouth of an animatronic. Henry built the thing, but it was fine until fucking Mike put the kid in his mouth. It is all Mike's fault. Fuck Mike.
They were given bracelets that emitted a specific...
Wait, we played as Mike. We killed our brother.
signal, and the puppet was programmed to always be aware of their locations. That
Better parenting probably would have prevented this. Yeah. It could have, but I feel like, didn't he also have a wife? And I'm not putting it all on the wife's fault, but it's both of their faults then. You somehow used the wrong formula and reached the current outcome. Better parenting would have solved it, but I feel like Mike was just fucking stupid and put his I would say Mike. If we're blaming the parent for not taking care of the kid, then I feel like we're getting too.
way Henry could walk around.
Which is an alias Michael Afton used. Wait, he plays Mike Schmidt. So we are Michael Afton.
Performing as Fredbear and not have to worry about where they were or what they were doing in the restaurant
So we're
around
not
the dangerous
William
machinery.
Afton. Michael Afton.
One day, not too long after Cece's death, fate tragically struck again, but this time it had a little help. While Henry was busy wearing the Fredbear Springlock suit, which was now outfitted with black accessories, some of the cruel children playing in Fredbear's locked Charlie outside. They didn't notice or didn't care about her plight. William was driving by, and just by chance, he noticed that Henry's daughter was locked out of the building.
Does he kidnap
alone,
the kid?
vulnerable. He parked beside her and got out to talk to her. She knew him as her father's best friend. So when he led her away from the door, she followed. Away from the door, away from the windows. William took his opportunity and killed Charlie, taking what Henry...
In the middle of fucking public? He could have at least taken her to like a back fucking alley. Well, I guess this is an alley, but like, dude, like, fucking take her in the woods or something. You'll have a better chance.
had
He led her away. He led her away from the window.
away from the door, she followed.
Or the door.
Away from the door, away from the windows.
Away from the door, away from the windows. So he killed her, like, it's still, like, on his property.
William took his opportunity and killed Charlie, taking what Henry had taken from him. He got in his car and sped away. Taking what Henry
They fucking animated him driving over her
had
body.
taken from him. He got in
Whoop.
his car and sped away, leaving tire tracks in the direction
It's
of
not
his
funny,
house.
but you know. It's...
The puppet was finally able to shove boxes out of the way and float outside. He found Charlie lying on the ground, close to death. The puppet couldn't do anything, so he laid down on top of her to shield her from the rain. She passed on with the puppet, her only friend, her protector, covering her.
Okay, so she's the
And
puppet.
just like Cece before her death imprinted her memories onto the puppet. With a gruesome, unsolved,
That
cold-blooded
looks like a
murder
penis.
happening outside the restaurant, Fredbear's family diner finally closed down. The owners had both lost children there within the span of a few months, and had it not been for the corporate machine chugging along keeping the franchise going, it all probably would have died right there with Charlie. But it didn't. William, who'd had longer to recover from his child's death and who felt vindicated having gotten even with Henry, had renewed vigor. He jumped back into work at Fazbear Entertainment, no longer as the co-owner of a single restaurant, but as a high-ranking board member and co-founder of a corporation, and the main manufacturer of the animatronics that made them so famous and beloved. After working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for a while, he started to notice odd things about the puppet,
other children
as
die?
if it was protecting children from him,
Oh.
like it knew he had killed Charlie. After Cece's death, William had shoved his beloved Fredbear plush into a box so he didn't have to look at it, along with family photos of himself, his wife, and their 3 children,
Yeah, what
which were
happened to his
painful
wife?
reminders of what he had lost. But after noticing the puppet's behavior,
Did his
he
wife
opened
die?
the
Did
box,
I miss that?
took out the plush, and kept it by his desk. It seemed to watch him wherever he went. In his madness and grief, William turned to alternative coping mechanisms and got into yoga.
It's just
Not
fucking
stretching,
Avatar the Last
but
Airbender.
actual Eastern philosophy and mysticism. That Steve Jobs guy, a competitor of Henry's, loved a book called Autobiography of a Yogi,
Steve Jobs.
and anyone who was working against Henry was someone William would listen to. Early on in the book, a brilliant inventor discusses with the young, soon-to-be yogi the concept that humans aren't very different from metal. Electrical current runs through metal much like electricity runs through the nervous system of a human body. William didn't know about all that, but in his line of work, robotics, it did kind of seem like circuit boards acted a bit like a human nervous system.
No, there's a smiley
Weren't
face in there.
robots and artificial intelligence just that? Mechanized men, intelligence but artificial? Could the human nervous system be overlaid
Dude,
over
he
a
had a
robot to give it
competitor
actual human level
named
intelligence?
Steve Jobs,
Could the human
okay?
nervous
He needed to
system of
read
a
the
real
same
person
book Steve
be
Jobs read,
overlaid over
alright?
a robot to give it their memories? Could that have been what happened to the security puppet? Did some amount of Charlie imprint onto it, giving it the inkling or the memory that William was the killer? He had to test this
How
idea.
the fuck did this guy
because
get
if it
away
worked,
by
he
killing the
might be
kid on
able
his
to bring
property,
his
by the
son
way?
back to life.
There's no way he got away with that. Where
Still
are the
working
cops
as the
and
main
the
robot
detectives?
distributor for Fazbear Entertainment, William came up with a plan. He invented a new character called Circus Baby, who was full of extremely high-tech features,
that looks scary.
like inflating balloons
I don't
with
like
a
her.
hidden helium tank and serving ice cream out of her stomach. But she had another function. William designed her to keep careful track of how many people were in a room with her. If she was ever alone with a child, she would lure it to her with ice cream, and then a claw would reach out and snatch the child, hiding it in a storage tank until she could bring the child to William. Around this time, a guy named Phone Guy started
What
working
type
at
of
Freddy
fucking
Fazbear's
kidnapping
Pizza.
scheme is this,
He
bro?
worked in middle management in a training type role, instructing new employees and sending out memos. He recorded a new training guide about wearing the springlock suit that had been brought over from Fredbear's. William presented his design ideas for Baby to the board at Fazbear Entertainment, and they rejected him, questioning the hatch and the other strange choices that seemingly served no purpose. So William took his idea for Baby, as well as the characters he had the rights to, Freddy, Bonnie, and Foxy, and planned to open his own
He really
restaurant,
is inventing
Circus
new
Baby's
tech.
Pizza World.
Like, dude,
Circus
what do
Baby's
you
Pizza
mean?
World
Like,
would be
what do you mean that you lure the kid with ice cream and a claw comes out and you snatch the kid, putting the kid inside the animatronic? Like, dude, who thinks of this?
a massive and impressive complex built near his house, and near the old and abandoned Fredbear's family diner. William was convinced that he was
Like, you gotta imagine, the dude that made this, made Fnaf, was like, what is a good way to kidnap children? Like, that's good, like, come on. Do you think there's someone that, like, is making this contraption in real life?
on the verge of a
It would not work in real life. There's no way there was a strong enough claw to grab a kid and shove him in.
breakthrough to bring back his son, but all his wife saw was her husband retreating
don't
away
know,
from their
though.
family
Could
when they needed
happen.
him the most. The two separated,
Yeah, he's on
and
Instagram.
William bought a house not too far from the families. Before he left,
Oh,
he
his
installed
wife
a
is
camera
kind of
in the
a
hallway,
birdie.
pointing at Cece's room, thinking that if paranormal activity were to happen anywhere, it would be there.
Nosy? Bro, hasn't heard of
Wanting
Nosy?
more
I
than
know
just
Nosy.
Baby to have child napping abilities, William designed new versions of Foxy and Freddy to work as a team. Their designs were a huge improvement over his old models, closer to Mangle than the original animatronics
Mangle.
from years and years ago. Freddy, like Baby, had a hatch in his stomach to store a captured child.
It's Bonnie.
Foxy had the ability to mimic any
What?
voices he
He's
heard.
putting all
The two
these
of them
into
could
these
lure a child
animatronics?
over to them, where Foxy would use the voice of a parent to get them to come close, and
What?
Freddy would snatch them. A fourth animatronic, Ballora, was based on William's newfound disdain for his now ex-wife. She had tried distracting him from his work, so he had Ballora, a vain, human-shaped woman whose eyes were closed to
What
his
does she do?
brilliance, act as a distraction, taking the parents' eyes away from their children. When William did have custody of
Dude,
his kids, he kept them away
This
from
guy
his new
is a fucking
inventions.
weirdo.
Elizabeth was enraptured by Baby, which was the point. She was supposed to lure in children, but William had to keep his own daughter away from the robot, knowing how dangerous it was.
I lost my kid.
Alongside
So
the
I'm
new
gonna kill
animatronics, there
50
were,
more.
of course, spring-lock suits, which would be used by employees when the restaurant opened. But these were William's designs, with his signature opening.
Dude, there's no way that he's getting away with this shit, by the way. Like, how do you not notice, like, kids missing? Or, like, how are these parents not causing a stir? Like, where the fuck is my kid? Where's my kid? What you do with my kid? And what are the police doing? Where are they? Where's the detectives? You tell me that the cops are so stupid?
Faceplates. In early 1985, Circus Baby's Pizza World opened for a test launch day. William was anxious, observing how things were going on the main floor. Despite having previously thought it was delicious irony that Henry's daughter had died while he was busy working, the same way Cece had died while William was busy working, it didn't cross William's mind that while he was focused on the operation of Circus Babies for launch day, there would be another tragedy.
Of course there
Not
would.
heeding her father's warnings, Elizabeth went into Circus Baby's auditorium to see the shiny new animatronic. As Baby's
Yeah, that's on. Okay, this death is solely on him. Because what do you mean that you built an animatronic that your daughter really likes, and you still put the animatronic with the fucking kidnapping device?
sang and danced. Her AI kept track of the number of children in the room.
I was in a small room with balloons
So
and a
stupid.
few tables. No one sat at the tables, though, but children would run in and out. Some were afraid of me, others enjoyed my songs. I would always count the children. Something happened when there was one,
Yoink!
a little girl, standing by herself. I was no longer myself.
Don't tell Daddy that I'm here. I wanted to watch a show too. I don't know why he won't let me come see you. You're wonderful. Where do the other children go?
Yoink!
Elizabeth did not die immediately, screaming and screaming in Baby's hatch. When everyone had left after a good
They
time
are
at
so
Circus
smart to
Babies,
check in their children, but
William
can't
went
make
to check
him not
on
talk to his daughter.
glorified
Yeah.
lobster trap. When he opened the hatch to see if his invention had caught anything, a
I
body
don't
rolled
know
out.
how he would do the AI to do specifically his daughter. Maybe just like do not kidnap any blonde children.
Body of his daughter. No one on the outside knew that anything had gone wrong. William told the media a lie that there was an issue with gas leaks, and so the restaurant had to temporarily postpone its launch. But it would never open. William went public about Elizabeth's death, being careful not to link it to Circus Baby's Pizza World in any way. He abandoned his pet project and did the only thing he could do. He observed Baby to see if there was any sign of possession. And there was. Baby no longer operated only using the AI he had programmed into her. She seemed more alive now. William was determined to test his theory more, and obviously not to use his last kid as bait, so he went back to his old stomping grounds at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, far enough away from his home to not arouse suspicion. Around this time, somebody died in a Springlock suit. Freddy's retired all of the Springlock suits and went and dug out the mediocre Melodies costumes and gave them to their staff. William was determined to test possession on one of the animatronics at Freddy's. He took the Springlock suit to one at the old Fredbear's, and he went around town searching for victims. His first victim was a good-hearted child he found walking along the street.
No one knows,
He came
man.
upon the child.
You're a fucking yellow-ass bear in the middle of public area.
And told him
Like,
he
dude.
needed help. There was a fire, and he needed the kid's help to put it out. He led him into Freddy's after hours, into the safe room in the back, which he knew no cameras could see, and killed him. He placed his body into one of the animatronics and waited. He waited a few days, but it didn't seem like there were any signs of possession. William donned his old yellow Spring Bonnie suit, and he walked around the restaurant during the day, looking for victims. He saw a young girl playing the Fruity Maze arcade cabinet. She seemed very sad.
That's Chica.
Playing in his Bonnie character, he walked up to her and asked her what was wrong. She told him her dog died. Using his best upbeat performer voice,
Foxy.
he told her that her dog wasn't dead. He was here, in the back room. He could show her.
Foxy or Mangled?
He brought her to the safe room,
No, it
hoping
is
her
Chica.
sadness would be enough to have her soul latch onto something. He killed her, waited for the restaurant to close, and then hid her body inside of Chica. He repeated this technique the following day. He knew that even one girl disappearing from Freddy's would likely draw attention, so he had to act quickly. He found a boy who was alone, and asked him if he could help Bonnie with his homework.
Yes.
The boy...
Yes. One child missing is going to lure attention, so let me kidnap 5 more. Let me kidnap 5 more.
wanting to be helpful and aid one of his favorite animatronic characters, followed William into the safe room and met the same fate as the other children. One day, working at Freddy's, he noticed a child who seemingly loved the restaurant more than anything else.
Yo, is that Mike?
He could tell by the way he interacted with his parents that his father was an abusive drunk, and his mother was apathetic. The kid, seemingly, was only happy when he was playing games at Freddy's. William scouted out where he lived. One night, he took his suit out and
Dude, this
walked
is like
to the
some
child's
weird
house.
fantasy that fucking...
It was raining,
the
but
afternoon.
that's okay. He took out his cloth costume that he wore before he invented Springlock suits. He walked up to the child's window and got his attention. He told him he wanted to take him to Freddy's to play. The kid said he couldn't go outside without his mother seeing him, so William told him to smash the window. He was going to run away from his abusive father and come stay at Freddy's forever. The kid did just that, and he and William walked hand in hand to Freddy's, where William brought him into the safe room, killed
He's
him,
Foxy.
and put his body into another animatronic. Nothing happened. It
There's
was
no way
June,
that they're...
and the school year was
Are they
fast
doing this
ending.
in the movies? There's no way.
Soon it would be summer, and Freddy's would be packed every day. It would be too busy for William to get a kid alone. William stood outside the middle school Mike had gone to.
He stood
one
outside the
CC
middle
Elizabeth
school.
would have
Oh
gone
my
to if they
god,
had
dude, this
lived.
guy is just...
He picked a girl out that looked
He's
like a
so
loner,
weird.
a bully type with a mad expression on her face. He followed her as she walked home, unsure about how to snatch her. He wasn't in costume, he was just walking. When she got close to where his car was parked, he thought quickly, opened his trunk, took out a shovel, and smashed it against the back of her head.
In public
He placed
once
her in the trunk
again,
and drove
dude.
her to
Where the
Freddy's.
fuck are
He had to keep her
where is
alive
everyone?
for his plan to work, so he kept her tied up and kept beating her unconscious every time she woke up,
What?
not letting her die. Finally, when night came and the restaurant closed, William brought her in
What do you mean he kept on beating her every time she woke up? Bro, this guy is ruthless,
to
bro.
the safe room. He figured the problem with his other failed attempts might have been that the kids didn't die in the suits, just near them. So he placed the girl, Cassidy, he found out her name was, alive and conscious, into the old
Let
Fredbear
me beat
Springlock
her.
suit. Once he had her inside, he twisted the spring lock so they'd all open at once, skewering and crushing her and stabbing her dozens if not hundreds of times. It was a brutal way to die.
This is so fucked
Her
up.
agony was so great, and her anger and hatred for William so strong, that William's plan finally succeeded. Cassidy's soul latched onto Fredbear. But the jig was up. William barely had a day to observe his work before the place was crawling with cops.
It took him that
5
long?
missing kids in a
Are you
few
serious?
weeks, 2 who vanished inside Freddy's, a franchise where 2 kids had died within the last few years. They needed to investigate. They observed security camera footage. For legal reasons, the cameras didn't show the safe room. They saw someone in a spring bunny suit leave the safe room, talk to a kid,
They don't
and
know
bring
it's
them
him.
back there with him, then leave again. William had stayed in the suit the entire time, and they couldn't identify him. Management guessed it was William. It made sense, it was his suit. He knew how it worked. So the next day, William was arrested. But not only could the police not find the bodies of the missing kids, but there was actually nothing
Check
tying
the
the kidnappings to
suit.
William.
Check the
After a few days of
suit.
investigation, in which the people around town said they saw a rabbit man walking around, and one abusive drunk but mournful father said he found animatronic footprints outside his house.
So there's fucking people looking and you just let the kid get fucking kidnapped?
The day his son disappeared, the police were able to tie all 5 disappearances to the bunny killer, but not to William. They let him go. Freddy's closed down, and 5 empty graves were placed beside a hill, marked Gabriel, Fritz, Susie, Jeremy, and Cassidy. But little did William know his plan had actually worked perfectly, just not the way he'd intended.
I can't believe this.
The puppet, noticing what William had done, knowing there were children in the suits, attempted to help them by giving gifts from the prize counter. That was its job, to give gifts to sad children. When the corpses didn't respond, the puppet did the only thing it thought to do. He passed a little bit of remnant, a little bit of life energy from himself, onto the children to guide them. And one by one, the souls of the children started to inhabit the animatronics.
So the nightmares are William? This is, he dies, maybe? I don't
Freddy's
know.
closed, and all of William's property, the animatronics mainly, were returned to him. He brought them home and quickly removed the bodies. He hid the evidence, and now he had as much time as he needed. The suits were old and worn out, but the endoskeletons were fine. William had been hard at work ever since being let out of jail. Knowing that he had been caught because of the security cameras, he conceived of a device that could block the signal going to a camera. He theorized that emitting certain sounds might scramble the camera, and after drafting up some ideas in his workshop, he came to the realization that the same principle should work on humans. In fact, if he designed it just right, not only should he be able to block out all
Is this
sensory
why
information
every time
with
they
these
move the
sounds,
cameras go
but he
out?
should be able to trick the brain into perceiving things that weren't there. He could create illusions. He needed to test his theory, but he was under the close eyes of the police
How fucking
now,
smart is this guy?
so he couldn't kidnap any more children.
What do you mean?
His son
A certain
would have
sound.
to do. He rigged his house with cameras, specifically
Will make
pointing to Mike's
fucking
bedroom,
illusions.
and connected them all to his main server in his workshop. He took the ratty, old, withered suits from Freddy's and fitted them with his sound illusion technology, which he was able to turn on and off with a remote. He was able to make them look slightly scarier with the illusion, enough that he could condition Michael, who was almost 16, to fear them. First, he had to program in some safety measures.
He's gonna kill his
He
third
wanted
kid.
the animatronics to be stopped by
He's gonna
light.
kill.
That way, he would be able to stop them if they went after him or anybody else, and they wouldn't hurt anyone in broad daylight. He built a small robot plush of Spring Bonnie and played a game with Michael, who he was testing just as much as he was testing his new technology. He told Michael that if he could get the plush to stop exactly on one spot with a flashlight, he'd reward him by letting him stay up late watching TV.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
At night, William would watch from his secret office as the animatronics
He's so
made their
gonna
way
die.
to Michael's room. William had attached illusion discs to all of them. He could make the foxy animatronic in the closet resemble a cute little plush. he could send Chica and Bonnie down the halls to open the doors to his room.
I recognize this game!
The only thing that would stop them would be the flashlight he had provided Mike. There was also a disc on the Freddy plush on Mike's bed. He wasn't trying to torture his son, he just needed to test his technology, and if Mike was emotionally scarred from the experience, then who cares? Mike is the one who killed Cece anyway. During all of this time, Henry had been alone. He had basically retired after Charlie had died, unable to keep working. His wife had taken their surviving child, Sam, and had left him, abandoning him with no other family to go to. He heard about the kids disappearing in town, and then heard about how it had been linked to Freddy's, and how William had been arrested. Suddenly,
that's what fucking William should have done. Fucking quit after his first kid
William
died.
had killed Charlie. This had awoken him as some sort of serial killer, and he had gone around murdering more kids dressed as Bonnie. Henry had his suspicions, but he didn't have the energy to do anything about it, and just told himself he was going crazy from grief. Meanwhile, William was going crazy with power. He had created artificial life, but he couldn't fully control it. He took the animatronics from circus babies, the Fun Times, and experimented with ways of controlling rogue artificial light forms. Eventually, discovering that short electric shocks would simmer them down. He also discovered that heating the possessed metal from the haunted endoskeletons allowed it to be malleable enough to retrofit into a new animatronic, but if he heated it too much...
doesn't this like all fall out of like line with like the mimic shit? Or did William just take inspo from the mimic stuff? I thought the mimic was like the early Fnaf.
The data, the imprint on the metal from the departed soul, would lose its abilities, like a scratched disc. He experimented with taking small parts of the haunted metal from the animatronics and putting them into the Fun Times.
Right?
He found a way to scale the amount of haunted material up or down in the manufacturing process, allowing animatronics like Ballora to receive a lot of remnant, while smaller models, like her mini-arenas, received just enough to become animated, but lacked higher cognitive skills. William had gone mad with power.
Did he mention Edwin? Maybe he said his name like once or twice. I think it is pre-mimic. It's 2 years ago. I just realized this shit's like pretty long, bruh. I'm putting it at 1.5. I'll understand everything.
Pastiche of Dr. Frankenstein, but he had reached as far as he could with the remnant he had, so now he needed more of it. He converted Circus Baby's Pizza World into a warehouse where his animatronics could be stored, and created Circus Baby Entertainment and Rental, a service where people could rent out one or more of the animatronics from him, making him a little money on the side. Trying to move away from the bad press associated with Freddy's, Fazbear Entertainment relaunched Chica's Party World with the mediocre melodies. It would shortly fail again. William, who had been kicked off the board of Freddy's by this point, and had also lost a lot of weight from spending countless hours in his office and shop, found out that Freddy's would soon be opening a new location, relaunching 3 years after the previous incident, in October of 1987. He hatched a scheme that he was sure would allow him to bring his children back once and for all. Fazbear Entertainment contacted William to get the old animatronics back. The now decrepit and withered original animatronics, Balloon Boy and Mangle.
Wait, I thought his kid was the Bite of 87. The Bite of 87 hasn't happened yet?
Fazbear, and that they technically owned, were all taken back by the company. The company outsourced its robotic needs to a different company, who came up with the idea for the toy animatronics. William didn't like this. No other robot manufacturer was as good as him. The mediocre melodies were mediocre, and these new animatronics got their designs from the plastic toys based on his characters, so they were hardly original.
Ugly ass plastic toys.
Them up to a criminal database so they could monitor for criminals, assuring the public that this restaurant would be safe. William hatched a scheme. He would get hired at the restaurant under a new name, act as a night security guard, abduct and kill more children, and, with all of the possessed animatronics under one roof, finally gather enough remnant to bring back his daughter. But this would require a lot of work, so he enlisted the help of his son, Michael. Michael had been left completely in the dark about his father's doings. He was gaslit for years about the nightmare animatronics that roamed his house at night, and he had never been told the truth about his sister. But finally, William came clean. At least, about parts of it. He told Michael that Elizabeth had been killed by the animatronic baby in a freak accident, and that he thought she now possessed the machine. But she was broken, defective. There was something holding her back from being herself. He told Mike that the baby animatronic was still governed by the original AI that powered the machine.
Dude, he like grew. I can say that, right? He like, cause groom doesn't necessarily mean sexual. He groomed his kid into like, oh yeah, this is how you do all the animatronic shit, okay? This is how you avoid getting killed by them. And then he sends his, I assume he sends his kid. That's why we were playing Mike. I don't know if William told him about it. I thought he found it on his own. Well, isn't it Mike, like, in Fnaf 4, right? He already knows about the animatronics and how to deal with them, like with the light. He trained them.
It killed Elizabeth, but if Mike could remove that AI, then Elizabeth would take full control and be back to her normal self. Mike could help resurrect his sister. He told him she was being kept in the Circus Baby rental center, along with the other Funtime animatronics. He got Mike a job working there, giving him a week to put Elizabeth's consciousness back together.
Yeah, he trained his kid to like
more kids. He would kill them at pregnant
like
and use their remnant to bring Elizabeth's consciousness back fully. Mike, recently 18, started his first job working at Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. He found Ballora, Foxy, Freddy, and Baby, who seemed to think he was different than the other employees. This assured him enough that his father had been telling the truth, and that his sister was still in there somewhere. On his second day on the job, he had to reset a power breaker. He found a blueprint of the building, and noticed how it was connected, not just to his home, but also to his mother's and to Fredbear's. He started to get the notion that his father maybe wasn't being as truthful as he appeared. As the week continued, he got closer to Baby, trusting her more and more. One night, Funtime Foxy attacked him, some sort of karmic retribution for how Mike had used Foxy's visage to scare Cece. This was the beginning of a long pattern of Foxy being the character that caused Mike the most problems. Baby saved him from Foxy, and Mike was sure he would soon be able to save her. On his last day, he went to repair her and removed her AI from her body, believing he was now freeing his sister, but it was already too late. Baby and the other animatronics, Freddy, Foxy, and Ballora, had hatched a plan. They were able to escape up to the surface. They had done it before, but they knew they couldn't walk around as themselves, so they needed a disguise. They thought they recognized Mike. They thought he was William. The son and father looked very similar, and how great would it be to kill the very person who had murdered them in order to free themselves? They all ditched their plastic casings and knotted their endoskeletons together to form an amalgamation called Ennard. Baby had already joined with Ennard when she tasked Mike to remove her AI. He was doomed before he even started this task. They tricked him into entering the scooping room. The scoop was a device William had used to inject the animatronics with remnant. It was what allowed him to scale the amount of remnant per animatronic. Scoop stood for scalable
the job would have been
creation of
free
ulterior
if I didn't look like
but
it.
it always left some residue on the end of its massive claw. Ennard gutted Mike, tearing out his insides and allowing room for the giant animatronic to enter his body and walk around inside him, like he was its casing, its costume. But the remnant on the scoop kept him alive, healing him with every bone-breaking move the animatronic made. Michael had no idea that while he was working in Circus Babies, someone else was there with him. The endosskeleton from Fredbear had freed itself from the costume before it was shipped back to the new Freddy's location. It found its way to Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental, following an ethereal cry for help. Years previously, when the Fredbear animatronic had lethally bitten down on Cece, a little of his memory, his agony, had stayed with the animatronic, allowing Cassidy to communicate with him. Cassidy could partially see his memories, at least those that involved his fatal party. Cece didn't seem to remember much of anything, but Cassidy could tell the party was his birthday, and he had died terrified and alone. She followed Cece's pleas and found William's office inside of Circus Babies, which was connected to the house. There, on his desk, was the possessed Fredbear plush, containing the rest of Cece's remnant, most of his memories. Cassidy took it and left, knowing the only way to recombine all of Cece's memories was to reunite the doll, her endoskeleton, and the Fredbear casing together in one place. So she headed to the new Freddy's location.
The new Freddy.
While Mike's body was being puppeted around by horrific monstrosities of nature, Mike was just kind of relaxing. One property of Remnant that William hadn't really been able to test was its effect on living humans. It's unclear if he knew it had healing abilities, although he probably did, because Baby assured Mike he would not die from the procedure. But it's very unlikely that William knew being injected with someone else's remnant would allow Mike to contact them from beyond the grave. The scoop had held remnant from all of William's previous victims, taken from the original animatronics and put into the Fun Times. Mike was able to see and partially contact Gabriel, Fritz, Susie, Jeremy, and Cassidy. And, by extension of contacting Cassidy, he was able to speak with his younger brother once again. CC's consciousness was so skewered, his memories so scattered, his being
Wait,
so broken.
isn't it Mike, the main character of the Fnaf movie? So is he dead? He doesn't look dead. But the movie is not canon.
That Mike was barely able to reach him. He told him something terrible had happened, but that he was going to protect him. He wasn't going to let his soul be used to power a horrific machine.
The movies are to do
William's bidding.
canon.
He spoke to Cassidy and told her she needed to find a way to save Cece. Eventually, Mike's body was so battered and bruised that Ennard had to flee his meat puppet and go into the sewers to remain hidden. Mike, in horrific pain, whose eyeballs had exploded and who had every bone in his body broken, slowly started to heal. And as he did, his ability to contact the other side vanished.
On the
But now he knew
public
what his father had
sidewalk, by
done.
the way.
In the name of saving Cece and Elizabeth, he had killed multiple children. He was the bunny killer. He had created these machines to kill more kids, and would likely do it again. Mike wanted to save Cece, the right way, by letting his spirit go. The animatronics inside Ennard, now wandering the sewer, got into an argument. As the presence of the baby AI slowly left her endoskeleton, Elizabeth's consciousness began to take more control, and she wanted to help her father dutifully. But the other animatronics, who of course were innocent children William had killed, didn't take kindly to that.
What do you mean
So
help
they split
your
apart,
father,
with Baby left to
bro?
piece herself back together, and Ennard heading back to Circus Babies to find more parts, eventually becoming the amalgamation known as Molten Freddy. Meanwhile, William had accomplished his life goal. He had found, kidnapped, and tortured new victims, and had slain them in an effort to gather more
Oh my
remnants. But what he had
god,
never
he's
learned,
killing
and
so
hadn't
many
been counting on, was that the
kids!
puppet wanted vengeance. It sent the Freddy animatronic after William, who realized that the puppet's control over the animatronics was greater than his own. He quickly cleaned up the restaurant and hid the bodies, but realized too late that he had been kicking a hornet's nest by returning there. These animatronics were angry. He demanded of corporate that he be moved to the day staff, so he could keep watching the animatronics during the day when they were less active, and there were plenty of witnesses and lights to stop them from attacking him. Mike recovered over the course of a few days and made a promise to himself to find and stop his father.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you.
He started his journey by tracking down Henry. Henry
I'm
had
going to
retired
kill
and was spending
you,
his days just trying
father.
to get by, subconsciously aware of what had happened and what he had allowed to happen. Mike approached him while he was fishing by a lake, and the two sat down to have a long conversation. Mike confirmed to Henry everything William had done, and explained to him that there were trapped spirits possessing the animatronics, and that he had been in contact with them. Henry told him things were too far gone, and that there was nothing they could do. Mike said he had a plan to leave breadcrumbs for Cece, to reunite his memories and his consciousness, but Henry said such a plan would take time. While William had been the robotics genius, Henry had always been more focused on the video games. He theorized that video games might be a possible way to communicate with the spirits in a way that left them, the humans, at no risk. Instead of using Remnant to power animatronic robots, they could use circuit boards and physical arcade cabinets to communicate with the spirits through video games. But Henry said it would take a long time, years, to get across even simple messages, and that it would be like the spirits were frozen in time between attempts. Mike couldn't wait that long, so he launched into his plan immediately and left Henry, disappointed and angry that the old man wouldn't help him. Mike headed off to the new Freddy's location to confront his father. After William moved to the day shift, Freddy's needed a new nighttime security guard, so they hired Jeremy Fitzgerald. The animatronics were not too pleased with the security guards because William had just killed more kids in front of them, so they started trying to get at Jeremy. After a few days of investigations, the local police traced these new kidnappings to the new Freddy's. After the new information about the disappearances was entered into the criminal database, the toy animatronics were suddenly on the lookout for a criminal. The small amount of soul imbued into them by the parts taken from the original animatronics that had been used to repair them, on top of their programming, made them significantly more aggressive. William knew that he had been found out, so he fled, going home to discover that Mike had left him a note saying he knew everything and that he was going to come after him. William then disappeared, knowing his son would testify against him, and there was no getting out of it this time. Freddy's was going to be shut down, but they had one last party already pre-planned on the books. For his last day, Jeremy was transferred to the day shift, and told to stand near the animatronics to make sure that things went smoothly. Phone Guy reached out to Henry, knowing he was one of the founders of Fredbear's Family Diner, to talk about the incident. Henry, still reeling from his conversation with Mike, knew now that he had to do something, and if Mike was going to be too brash and stubborn to play the long game, then he would have to do it himself. He started to program games in an attempt to contact the other side, and eventually, he found Cassidy. Jeremy's last day was not pleasant. During that final party, Mangle decided he wanted to stop this security guard menace once and for all, and so he took a big bite out of his forehead, completely detaching his frontal lobe. Jeremy survived, but lost most forms of higher cognitive function. Had the security guard actually been William, this would have been karmic justice, him being confined to bed forever with his memories scattered, like his victims who were trapped in the machines. But it wasn't. It was an innocent bystander who was caught in the crossfire. That night, after the incident that would become known as the Bite of 87, Mike got hired at Freddy's using the alias Fritz Smith. He got through the night by fending off the extremely agitated animatronics, and once day came around, he started searching them for clues and confirmation of his father's misdeeds. The company caught him and fired him that day, setting him loose out into the world with no way of finding his father. Fazbear Entertainment was not doing so great after the restaurant they had just poured a fortune into was tied yet again into more disappearances, and had to immediately be closed down after a security guard had his brain bitten off in front of a bunch of children. So they downsized. They scrapped the toy animatronics and moved their equipment back to the first Freddy's location. They scrapped Mangle too, for good measure. Henry took the animatronics and started using their remnant to get a better and faster way of contacting the spirits. He used the remnant in Mangle and slotted it into pre-existing game Mangle's Quest, altering the code to allow contact with one of the child's spirits. He did the same with Toy Chica and even Balloon Boy. Eventually, he started making his own games from scratch to communicate with Cassidy, telling her the story of the Afton family. He started with Cece, and the week leading up to his death, acting as the narrator in the role of the Fredbear plush. He made a game out of Mike's experiences being scooped by Ennard, so Cassidy would understand what Mike had gone through, and he made one for Elizabeth. He made one for Charlie's death, originally trying to hide the fact that the death in question was in fact of Charlie. He didn't want to potentially upset the spirit of his daughter, but eventually he caved in and he told the truth. He used the games to explain how William did his murders, and the games responded back, showing him how the puppet had brought all the spirits back by leading them to possess the animatronics. Then they gave Henry the most important information they would ever give. The old animatronics had been moved back to the original pizzeria, preparing for a low-budget relaunch. The building was run down and William was easily able to break in. Using his illusion discs, he lured the possessed animatronics back to the safe room and disassembled them.
Everyone is
one by one, he destroyed the animatronics that had caused him so much trouble. This would allow him to harvest their remnant once again, and maybe use it once he found Baby, or take it back to his workshop to get the Fredbear plush, which he didn't realize was missing. But then the unthinkable happened. The spirits, the full ghosts of the children, manifested in front of him. They had been weak, spread out over multiple animatronics, and tossed into metal casings.
Is this when he says, "I always come back"?
To bring home to his office, in the room where they had all been killed, they were able to finally manifest. They had all been brought together, and their agony from dying in this very room to this very man gave them more power. Cassidy, who had arrived in the building to reunite with the Fredbear casing, saw what was going on. She chose to leave her endoskeleton and walk and find William, hiding in the safe room from the other ghosts.
Yeah, he's gonna be put into that golden thing.
She chased after him, and he spotted his old spring Bonnie suit in the corner. It was the suit he had used to murder most of them, and in the past, he had been able to gain the animatronic's trust by pretending to be Bonnie, not a human. So he thought maybe this would work now, too. He got into the suit, pleased by his own genius, and then the mechanism holding back the spring locks snapped. The suit was old, it had gotten wet, hadn't been used in a long time, and he had just rushed to put it on. The suit stabbed, crushed, and mutilated his body, just as he had done to Cassidy all those years ago. He was left to die, hunched over on the floor. Cassidy relayed the story to Henry, who rushed to the building to see if it was true. He saw the mass of William's corpse tangled in the suit, and knew that this was a fate befitting such a monster. Killing him and destroying his remnant would be a mercy.
He can control it now,
Henry no longer cared about stopping William. He could focus solely on freeing the spirits. He had Fazbear Entertainment board up the room with William still inside, and went back to making his games. When the third iteration of Freddy's finally launched, they had to salvage what William had left of the old animatronics. They made new casings and created the new Freddy's characters. For several years, Phone Guy acted as the nighttime security guard, until it came time for him to retire toward the end of 1992. Mike had, of course, searched the restaurant during the day and found nothing. He knew they really only became active at night, but had no way of being in the building after hours. He resigned himself to giving up on his quest, his trail of breadcrumbs doing nothing to help Cece, and having no idea where his father went. That was, until Phone Guy retired in November of '92, and the nighttime security guard job opened up again. Mike immediately applied, changing his last name to Schmidt to hide his association with his criminal father. Little did he know, but Phone Guy had been killed on his last shift, 1 day away from retirement. Mike worked at Freddy's for several days, feeling the place out, until something happened that changed him forever. The Fredbear Springlock suit appeared to him, almost as a hallucination. Posters on the walls and the sign outside Pirate Cove would sometimes change to the text, "It's me." Mike realized that this vision of Fredbear was Cece trying to communicate. He had regained enough of his memory to recognize Mike, and was trying to find him. Mike immediately volunteered to work overtime, even after finding out Phone Guy had died, and used these last days to investigate the animatronics, until he was found out again by the company, and fired again. The location closed down a month later, and the animatronics scattered to the wind, being sold off, lost, destroyed, or simply forgotten about. Mike had failed his task. It had been 9 years since he had accidentally gotten his brother killed, and he had lost his last chance to help him. Cassidy, meanwhile, was on a quest of her own. She was finding the other spirits in their animatronic forms digitally, uniting them, speaking to them, working on a way to combine all of their memories and getting them all together to finally give Cece one happy day to remember everything and to allow herself to move on. They were almost there. Time, of course, was little matter to Cassidy or any of the spirits, who were not bound to reality the same way that the others were. 20 years passed, and the world moved on from the murders and disappearances at the Freddy's locations. Fazbear Entertainment had become a thing of the past. All the while, Cassidy was learning about that past. Henry was experimenting with robotics, circuit boards, and Remnant, and Mike was beating himself up over failing to achieve his most crucial life goal. Then, in 2015, Freddy Fazbear's came back in a big way.
Really?
A small horror attraction gained the rights to the Fazbear name and trademarks, and planned to open a funhouse named Fazbear's Frights. It would be stocked with as much memorabilia as they could salvage, along with original arcade cabinets, animatronic pieces, and an authentic security office. They needed a real security guard to watch the place, but also wanted him to be part of the show, playing the role of the Freddy security guard. The night guard at Fazbear's Frights would have the inverse role of the night guard at a real Freddy's. Nighttime would be when people were visiting the horror attraction, and so the guard's job would be to make sure people weren't taking or breaking anything. When this position opened up after so many years, Mike leapt at the opportunity to investigate Freddy's again.
Like, how would that work as a game, though?
Help him communicate again with the lost souls. Mike was brought on and hired before the location opened. For the first few days, he acted as an actual security guard, just monitoring the empty building. One of the props the company had crafted was an activity book themed around the classic animatronics. Mike, bored in the empty office, flipped through the book, jotting down notes, jokes, and sketching out small cartoons. He didn't notice that the text of the book was changing, just like the posters and signs from the old Freddy's locations, indicating the presence of a strong spiritual force.
It's
indicating
me!
The presence of Fredbear, of Cassidy, and his brother Cece. Being back in the Freddy's location brought back unwanted thoughts and feelings that he had been repressing for many years. He tried to tell himself that Cece's death wasn't his fault, but he knew deep down he didn't believe that. He started having nightmares about the way William tested his technology on him as a kid. These culminated in a dream about an animatronic that looked like a grotesque Fredbear
that guy's
that had a
fucking
mouth
creepy.
in its stomach, mimicking both animatronics that had killed his siblings. The owners and operators of Fazbear Frights were on a mission to recover lost Freddy's artifacts, and while they thought that they had cleared out the old restaurant of everything it contained, they found out that there was actually a secret, boarded-up room. The Frights crew broke through the false wall that had been built to hide the safe room, and, finally, after several decades, William Afton was free. Or more accurately, Springtrap was free.
Springtrap! Wait,
Much
he's
like a baby
Springtrap!
before him, William was partially bound by the confines of the animatronics suit's artificial intelligence. When Spring Bonnie was in suit mode, it was just a costume being worn by a performer. When it was in animatronic mode, it was programmed to follow the sound of children, so it would always be in the main party area. William had been killed when the suit's animatronic mode was activated, meaning he was bound by the AI to follow the sound of children with limited free will.
Bound by the
Inside
AI,
the previously sealed
bitch.
safe room were also some of Phone Guy's recordings from back in the days of the first Freddy's location. Basically, anything to do with Springlock suits were tossed back there to hide them from lawyers. The operator of Fazbear Frights thought it would add to the ambiance to play these recordings during operation hours, not even giving them a listen first. With the opening of the attraction still at least a week away, the owner contacted Mike to tell him what they had found.
We found one. A real one.
Mike, who had no idea what the fate of his father had been, didn't know at first that the animatronics
It's
that
his
had been brought to
dad!
the building contained his father's corpse, yearning to be free. Phone Guy's familiar voice played in the office as Mike sat and watched Spring Bonnie walk around aimlessly. Mike had a button that could simulate child speech by playing lines from Balloon Boy's voice box in any room he wanted, and he used this to continually lure Springtrap away from him. But as the days passed by, and he heard more and more of Phone Guy's messages, the picture became very clear. The Springlock suits were death traps that Fazbear Entertainment tried to sweep under the rug. They knew that one had been used in the missing children's incident. This suit had been found
does
behind
he
the false
not
wall in
rescue
the
the
original Freddy's
kids?
location,
It's almost
where Mike had spent a
over.
week of
Does
his
he
life
not
over
rescue
20
his
years ago.
sister?
Suddenly it all made sense. His father hadn't vanished, starting a new life somewhere, having gotten away with his crimes. He had been hoisted upon his own petard, killed by a Springlock suit,
Is it
trapped
not
at
over?
Freddy's. When Spring Bonnie got close to Mike's office, he could see the rotting flesh inside the fur casing. He could see his father's skull behind the mask. Mike did the only thing he thought sensible to do. He lit a match and burned the entire building to the ground. He knew it would be blamed on faulty wiring, and he ran away with his life, watching the building burn, thinking there was no way his father would escape this time. But escape he did.
No.
Henry, of course, heard about the attraction and the
What's the
fire,
next
but had
game?
no idea Mike was involved. The parallel path the two had set out on after their initial argument all those years ago had never crossed again. They hadn't communicated, hadn't been able to plan together, were both working alone toward the same goal. The surviving items from Fazbear Frights were put up for auction, and Henry jumped in and scooped them all up. After the fire, Mike's annotated notebook was also salvaged, untouched by the fire in an almost supernatural way.
Bro.
The new Fazbear Entertainment bought it, and intended to distribute it to the next guard hired at their new location, crossing out and censoring sections about Springlock suits. Henry devised a plan to end everything once and for all.
Just let
His
it
decision to
go.
leave William rotting in his own suit had backfired. Now he was free. He had learned of the existence of
It's
Enner
a
from his
real
communications
sim?
with Cassidy, and, of course, his daughter was still out there somewhere. He built a robot
It's still
named
going,
Lefty,
like
which
the
stood for lure,
timeline?
encapsulate,
It's
fuse,
still going?
transport, extract. It emitted the same signal as Charlie's bracelet, which he knew would attract the puppet, Lefty would then open and trap the puppet within, physically fusing to its body to prevent escape. It would administer small shocks, and constantly play the puppet's soothing music box song to keep him docile. Then it would bring the puppet back to Henry. But Henry still had to find the others. William was out there, Baby was out there, Molten Freddy was out there, and Henry thought of a scheme to bring them all back together in one place. He bought the old Fredbear's Family Diner building from whoever its last owner had been decades after Henry had last run the place. He converted it to a Freddy's location, advertising it as the big Freddy's comeback. Inside, he built a labyrinth of sound and smells, of misdirection, with no exit, a maze, a trap, endless circles of fake child laughter and the smells of a Freddy's restaurant, luring William, Elizabeth, and Molten Freddy toward new victims that they would never reach. Henry put up a help-wanted ad to hire someone to run the building. They would run the day shift, buy new equipment, schedule parties, manage the floor, and do some end-of-night tasks. Henry left recorded messages for them, teaching them how to salvage old animatronics that might turn up on their doorstep. Of course, he knew Lefty, William, Elizabeth, and Molten Freddy would show their faces, and they had to be brought inside and locked away. Once they had all been gathered,
we need to let this IP go, bro.
He knew that melting
like
the imprinted
in
metal would
universe.
destroy Remnant. And so he devised a way to ensure that the animatronics would burn and melt, and every soul would be free, including his daughters. He took the remains of the original
comebacks can
animatronics
one
and the
company
toys
have?
and reconstructed them into rockstar animatronics. He also took the arcade cabinets he had built over the years that had been infused with Remnant, and he made sure that they were inside the building too. But he didn't count on one thing. He discovered, after not too long, that the man who had applied to run the new pizzeria was Michael Afton. Henry stared at his trap, his box, and realized he had accomplished more than he had hoped. He had gathered together all the Aftons, himself and his daughter, and all that was left of the remnant from the missing children, and they were inside a furnace, ready to be destroyed. Henry, waiting inside the building for the moment of truth, called Mike, his voice ringing throughout the building so that every animatronic, every soul, could hear him.
You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize.
Is this the speech? Wait, did I miss something? Wait, okay, wait. Okay, so Mike built a building with the furnace and he's gonna burn everyone? Why would Mike burn everything? Henry built it. But Mike, oh, so he's gonna make Mike watch it? It's fucked up. To release their souls. Yeah, but to release their souls, they need William to die. Not them again.
His voice ringing throughout the building so that every animatronic, every soul, could hear him.
You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us.
The restaurant burned down, destroying everything inside.
Dude,
Henry had written
that was
a will
fucking
to make sure
insane
that Fazbear
aura.
Entertainment would be dissolved upon his death. And the entire history of the company, beginning with William's jealousy of Henry and the accidental death of Cece, all the way
Well,
to his last desperate.
Well, I mean, yeah, he does kill William in it, so I guess they, in a way, they do release. Because I said that in order for their souls to be released, William would need to die, and he kind of did it all in one swoop. Henry kind of got it.
Sacrifice would be forgotten. But Henry forgot one thing. Cassidy was still out there. Her rage unmatched, her hatred eternal. Cassidy
I forgot about
refused to let William die. He couldn't get off the hook that easily. She devised a perfect form of torment for him, making him sit in a room, fending off every single threat he had created. She trapped the souls of the children to further torment William. Even Henry was forced to continue this punishment for William, although for Henry, he was in his own form of torture. His plan had failed. The souls had not moved on. He was stuck in the same place he had been all those years ago, sitting idly by a pond, not helping, not doing anything. But he had learned from his past mistake. When Cassidy came to him, meeting him for the first time after their years of spiritual communication, Henry didn't take on the passive role he had had when Mike came asking for help. He told Cassidy what she must do.
Leave the demon to his demons. Rest your own soul. There is nothing else.
Cassidy had the choice to stay and let William fade away, or
dude, the voice actor of Henry is like,
harm herself
he's like so
in
good.
order to return to his torment, as if guiding her back to him, like the sounds of children that guided the animatronics there against their will. Cassidy could hear William's screams. So she chose the latter. She joined him once again and continued to torment him, trapping everyone there against their wills. But Charlie had a plan. The souls of the missing children were finally reunited, along with Cece and Charlie.
They're reunited.
They were reunited in the place that looked and felt like
Which is like, what happened
location.
to Mike? What happened to Mike? Did he burn with them? Wait, Michael, don't leave me here. Burn with everyone else.
Perfect place for them all to move past their trauma, especially Cece. Charlie was finally able to throw Cece the birthday party he never had.
Party!
They had all been put back together, and Cece's fright at the thought of the Freddy's characters, the visage of the bullies who had killed him, finally faded. He donned his Fredbear mask, finally making amends with the character that had killed him, and the souls all finally moved on.
If the souls moved on, how the fuck are they still making games?
Cassidy no longer had leverage over William, no longer had her unwilling accomplices, and William finally escaped them, heading for death, or whatever came next for him. But Cassidy still could not move on. She had defeated William, but she still had to defeat the idea of him. Mike, Cece, and Elizabeth were finally reunited, together and whole. And while the memory of this family will never and should never fade, the agony of their tragedy has.
And the mimic.
Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory? You need to vent.
What the heck? Future? What does that mean?
Of course, the story of Freddy Fazbear isn't over. After Fazbear Entertainment dissolved, Fazbear LLC took its place. This new company and its shady CEO hired an indie game developer to make horror games about the legends of Freddy.
Wait, is this what...
in order to discredit them as creepypastas and rumors, as well as to now legally own concepts such as Springtrap.
We know that Fazbear Entertainment has developed something of a bad reputation over the last few decades, and while it's true that some stories associated with our name were loosely...
The Mimic plays before all this? Yeah, I know, but like I feel like most of this... So, I mean, I guess it kind of just, like, it adds on, right? Because is like William like gets the idea of Springtrap from that guy. Yeah, I guess.
Based on actual events. The majority of them were total fabrications from the mind of a complete lunatic. Lawsuits pending.
They then killed this developer and pretended that he was some crazy guy. They began construction of a mega pizzaplex, covering the location of the original Fredbear Diner, Circus Baby Entertainment and Rental, and even the old Afton House. They released a virtual reality video game, started their own animatronic rental service, and successfully ran the pizzaplex for many years. The good name of Freddy's was safe. They had rebooted the concept and given it a glossy coat of paint.
How many times are you gonna let the fucking kid-killing fucking animatronics come back?
And we'll end on the high note of hoping that nothing bad ever happens at Freddy's again. But that's all for next time.
Wait, so how does security breach happen if the souls were rested? Is it new souls? Is it new kids? Love this shit. What is this?
Line of dialogue. The reason Fnaf 4 exists when it was meant to only be a trilogy is because people complained that Springtrap's jump scare was lame. And it was. So Scott decided
I think it's brought back somehow. And also the animatronics. Oh yeah, I forget. So Afton gets. So Henry's aura is just like deleted because he didn't get rid of Afton for good. Well, no, actually, it does make sense because Cece or whatever the guy or girl in this suit, right? In the gold suit, yeah. This they got rid of Afton, but they didn't get rid of the concept of Afton. So they were kind of like leaving it up to he turns into a virus. I guess it's a concept, yeah. Kind of a stupid concept, right? Glitch trap. This is Afton? How did he even get into a new suit? A part of him in a way? I think they need to let the IP go, man. They're milking the fuck out of this. How did Afton? Orchestrated by an advanced AI called the Mimic, who has simulated Afton's personality and is using the Pizzaplex's network to bring him back to physical form from the buried wreckage. So, how the fuck is that? How? Reddit. This thing a burnt, decaying animatronic. All these things are... Oh, 6 months ago. Okay. I think it's because it's agony, not remnant. Cassidy or Golden Freddy is filled by agony and creates UCN for him, right? That was supposed to be N for him, but in HW he comes back. I think he only survived the pain and all the things are... Okay, let's see. He doesn't always come back literally, as he came back as Springtrap from the spring lock failure and then escaped UCN, but died for good as a giant trash rabbit amalgamation. I said that wrong. Remnant is just a haunted object, which for Afton's case is metal, which is possessed by souls but also charged up with agony. So he's just a ghost. He's just a ghost. He's a ghost that fucking inflicted a virus. He died and became a ghost. But technically not a ghost. I love how someone asked, how does the mimic even know how to mimic him? And because I don't know. I assume... I don't know. Maybe he took like the camera footage of like everything. I don't know. Well, wasn't it the mimic before Afton? So maybe he like studied him. This is where there isn't a street story. I think Afton is just a ghost, and that makes it somewhat more believable. But if he actually comes back physically, then I don't know. I don't know. And then there was like there was a bite of 87 and then like a bite of like 80 like 3. Oh, Amari. Oh. Hey. A part of him survives in a digital form. Yo. Oh. Hey. Okay. Well, I'll watch the Fnaf now. I think it's time to end. You're going to bed? Well, perfect timing, singer. Perfect timing, singer.